I need to get through this, or I'm not going to finish any of these videos. All right, we're doing Piers Morgan. Good luck.
A transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get.
He can actually pave the way for a really nice transition into a Trump presidency that I believe is going to bring back.
Are you aware of the current politics drama in Germany? Nope.
An 80s style revolution in America.
Having, the smartest guy on the planet stuck into government bureaucracy, I would have thought that's very popular, isn't it?
Department for Government Efficiency. New department when Trump wants to eliminate departments. I've got a list of 30 Rubin predictions. They're always wrong.
God, you're such a smug prick.
Piers, I am begging you, stop inviting the stupidest leftists on to make the argument for trans civil rights.
There's LGBTQ in breaking news right now on MSNBC. Like, I love calling out the BS.
First, the stunning victory, now the MAGA revolution. Trump is at the White House with Joe Biden today as he sets forth his plans to turn things upside down. Can Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy turn the bloated federal government into a blue chip business? Or are these planet-sized egos heading for a cosmic explosion? Will Trump's new defense team give us peace through power, or is this a sellout to the neocons? And as the Democrats simmer in the glow of a map turned Republican red, where on earth do they go from here? In a moment, we'll debate all this with an all-star panel, but first, a short word about an interview we ran yesterday.
They said that it was 4 million that died in Auschwitz, and then they said it was down to 1 million, so they've revised the figure.
Well, how many people? How many people do you think were killed in the Holocaust?
271,000 that died in Auschwitz.
How many do you think were killed in the Holocaust?
I don't know, but I would bet my entire net worth that it was
less than
under
6 million.
Yeah. Well, unsurprisingly, the interview sparks a massive response. Bilzerian has millions of followers, and many of them, of course, crawled out of the woodwork to cheerlead him. Plenty of people were shocked, as indeed I was in real time, that any public figure could spew such obvious prejudice as brazenly as he did. Others, well, a few people, are angry at me for giving him a platform. Michael Rappaport said, I'm sick of Piers Morgan having disgusting, known, proven, shitbag Jew haters on his show and saying afterwards, I don't agree. Jewish people, please unfollow this scumbag now. Piers Morgan also hates Jews. Oh, Michael, calm down, you silly little man. I obviously don't hate Jews. And the thing about platforms is that everybody has access to them. You've often yourself been offered access to mine, but you haven't appeared yet. The offer still stands if you have the guts. In the new media landscape, anyone can speak unfiltered or uncensored to their followers and acolytes. At least when I interview somebody with incendiary views, audiences get to see those views being vigorously challenged. And free speech is supposed to be uncomfortable. It's only by hearing the polar opposite of your own worldview you can be sure that you're right and understand why you believe that you are. Dan Bilzerian went a lot further than I was expecting him to. I was genuinely appalled by what I was hearing.
Appalled.
I started out the interview thinking it was going to be more about his apparent so-called redemption arc. As you all saw, there's no redemption arc. He's sunk into an abyss of anti-Semitism.
Oh, no.
And on that point, I've interviewed many people on both sides of the Israel-Palestine debate, professors, politicians, medics, victims, journalists, musicians, diplomats, comedians, and more. At regular interviews, at intervals, I've been criticized by people on both sides. Do I think Dan Bilzerian's interview made some big intellectual contribution to his vexed debate? No, I don't, actually. But as a beginner's guide to the kind of ignorant anti-Semitism that's suddenly becoming extremely and worryingly prevalent, I think it was quite an eye-opener. And to the many Bilzerian fans demanding we release the...
Did you read Madonna? What? Please read and give your thoughts if you think the recent FBI raid is related. I have no idea. I haven't read anything about this FBI raid. I don't know. Voting experts warn of serious threats for 2024 from election equipment, software breaches. Probably not. Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Haven't read anything. I doubt it.
Unedited interview because they thought their man surely couldn't have come across that badly. Well, I'm afraid I've got bad news for you. That was the unedited interview. That's what he really sounds like when he actually has to talk about these despicable views. If we cut out the parts, frankly, that I didn't agree with, it would have been the shortest interview of the year, as well as the most shocking. But now down to real business with my stellar panel of white dudes for and against Harris. Host of the Rubin Report, Dave Rubin. Host of the David Pakman Show, David Pakman. Host of No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, Brian Tyler Cohen. And host of the Ben Ferguson podcast, Ben Ferguson. What a magnificent quartet of white dudes, if ever I've seen one. David Pakman, I want to start with you. You were very clear to me when we spoke before the election that this whole issue of transgenders in sport and so on was completely irrelevant and nobody cared. Let me remind you.
You're saying Kamala Harris and Biden have come out in support of this.
They do.
Wait, was that a big edit? Or I'm sorry, hold on. I don't understand the leeway there.
Before the election,
I'm sorry, the segue
this whole issue of transgenders in sport and so on was completely irrelevant and nobody cared. Let me remind you.
You're saying Kamala
Oh, I'm so stupid. He's playing an old clip. My bad.
Harris and Biden have come out in support of this.
They do. They support policies which actively protect. They support policies that protect.
Fucking Kevin O'Leary.
Protect transgender athletes performing in women's sport. And I think that is madness. You're saying, well, because most of these things in this UN report were outside of America, it doesn't matter. It does matter.
What I'm saying, it's a completely contrived issue that almost no one cares about in every single opinion poll.
Wow. Well, the problem is, David, you couldn't have possibly been any more wrong, because the New York Times, the liberal Bible, did a whole piece about the ad that Trump ran, which is the Kamala's for they, them, Donald Trump's for you. They said it was one of the most effective 30-second spots in political history and may have shifted the race, according to her own side, by 2.7 percentage points in Trump's favor after people watched it. Let's take a look at the ad before I come to you.
For prisoners, every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
Hell no, I don't want my taxpayer dollars going to that.
Kamala supports transgender sex changes in jail with our money.
Kamala even supports letting biological men compete against our girls in their sports. Kamala is for they, them. President Trump is for you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
So, look, on reflection, David, do you want to admit you were completely and hopelessly wrong about this?
No, in fact, in the aftermath, we figured out how dishonest you were, Piers, during that. And hopefully we can get a little bit of an opportunity. So let me lay it out. First of all, I went back and looked at the UN report in more detail. The UN report said nothing of the sort that you said. What you were referring to dishonestly was one footnote from an anti-trans organization making completely unsubstantiated claims. So I will wait for the apology from you. The UN report doesn't say that, but that wasn't the crux of your question. Second part of it, that ad with Kamala, I would have loved Kamala to respond to it. All she had to say was at the time that she said that, it was Trump administration Bureau of Prisons policy that that's what's available to trans inmates when determined medically necessary. She would follow the law. You haven't said that. And then number 3, Piers, on who cares about the issue, I checked, Gallup survey, trans issues at the very bottom. The reality is almost no one's trans, almost no trans people are in competitive sports, and people do not care about the issue. However, there's a lot of money made grifting about trans this and trans that, even from people on this panel, so I get why they keep bringing it up.
Ben, you burst out laughing then. Would you like to take the first shot back?
Yeah, number one, I've never made any money off the issue. And I doubt hardly anyone that I know, if you want to talk about how few there are making money off trans issues, but that was a very interesting.
1, you make money off the issue by talking about it. 2, he's either using a webcam or his camera is overexposed and his microphone is not closer to his face or it's in the background. He needs a lav mic or a better shotgun mic. Unacceptable.
Play there. I don't think it's a good one, but we'll move on from that to the second point. Vanderbilt, for example, they said, and I quote, "You better get on board as a doctor, and if you don't with trans surgeries, you're out of here." They said that on tape and got busted. Then they said that every kid that we can bring in. I'm answering the question, and you may have heard a different question than I did, so you can calm down and let me finish. You look at what they said at Vanderbilt. They said over $1 million is what each kid is worth if we can hurry up and get them these surgeries, because they're going to be on drugs the rest of their life, and we're going to be able to own them for the rest of their life financially, and we can make millions off the kids. They said that at Vanderbilt University. Now, back to the bigger point here about the election. The reason why this was...
Do I want to fact check these people? If I go and look up Vanderbilt University, do they say that? We need to own these kids for the rest of their lives, so let's get them surgeries ASAP. If I go and look that up, did they say that?
The issue in the election is because Democrats made it an issue. They wanted to force little girls to be in lockdown.
Oh my God, because Democrats made it an issue. True. Democrats love talking about trans issues on the main stage over and over and over and over and over again.
This was an issue in the election. It's because Democrats made it an issue. They wanted to force little girls to be in locker rooms with grown men. They wanted to force women off the podium and allow men
Mark
on
Robinson,
the podium. Riley Gaines is a great example of this. Maybe you should listen, and then you understand why you got your ass kicked in the last presidential election and nationwide.
Yeah, like you guys listen. Oh, no. Remember, the easiest counter to me, Destiny. You keep saying the Republicans didn't reflect after 2020. Why would they reflect? They didn't lose that election. It was rigged. Obviously, they're not going to reflect. That's what the real answer is.
Fine. Actually, I'm glad you guys aren't listening, because you don't listen to the damn people. And the people said this was an issue. And then you mocked them and you act like it's not an issue when in fact it is an issue. So keep acting like you know what's going on in this country when the reality is this was an important issue to voters. It was an important issue to mothers. It was an important issue to moms that have girls in sports. It was a really important issue to men and dads that have young girls in sports. And so when you act like you guys weren't trying to do this and you weren't mandating that men compete with women and men beat women in sports and you weren't protecting young girls in the locker room, this is what you get. You get the American people and the silent majority that said no more of this radical and extreme position. And they showed up on election day. And if you would have listened to the American people, you would have understood this.
The funniest thing is that before all the trans shit, I feel like, am I making this up? I feel like it was no. I don't know if it's fair to say this is a conservative argument or might have just been an NCAA argument. I thought I heard people talking about how important we need to defund women's sports because like the Title IX shit was retarded and we were wasting money funding any women's programs on schools because it didn't make anywhere near as much money as college football did. That there was like no point in even having these things and that all the Title IX requirements to have these different athletic events were just a waste of time. Now these people are like the staunchest fucking defenders of women's sports. Holy shit.
This issue mattered to moms and dads, including liberals and undecideds, and that's why you lost.
Yeah, look, I just don't think there's any...
But to be fair, I don't know if that was like a conservative argument, if that was just like a college football fan argument, or that's not maybe, I don't know if maybe, I don't know. Wait, sorry.
Decided, and that's why you lost.
Yeah, look, I just don't think there's any doubt about this. We bring Brian Tyler Cohen in here. You know, as much as my Democrat friends want to try and put their head in the sand and pretend this was not an issue, it just all played into the same big issue for the Democrats, which was firmly rejected by the American electorate across the board, by the way. Latinos, blacks, whites, Jewish, Muslim, just about everybody gravitated to Trump in this.
Destiny's becoming the menswear Twitter guy, but for lighting and sound. That would be funny, is to make like a thread, and it's like, people don't consider the cultural significance of a Logitech C920. Even though it might seem bad to the untrained eye, this man is clearly hearkening back to the days of gamerdom, where these types of microphones were significantly, were a huge part of the culture. Yeah. Be good memes.
Selection in bigger numbers.
Just for one Twitter thread.
Than before. And a lot of it was down to the economy, a lot of it was down to the immigration crisis, but a lot of it was also down to what is perceived to be just woke insanity, including this whole trans debate. And you've heard Bill Clinton was warning them about this. Joe Scarborough said afterwards it had been a disaster. You're seeing David Axelrod say they should never have fought on this hill. Lots of senior people now.
Did all the voters just lie to exit polling firms? They were ashamed to say that they voted on trans, so they said the economy. It's just what, like, asking somebody why they're doing a thing, I just think it's more complicated than people like give it credit for. People don't understand, like, people don't even know all the time like why they're driven to do the things that they do, because it'll usually be like really multifaceted. I'm trying to, like, I think like a question of why did a relationship end? I think that's a really good like example where you can think of like, oh well, the relationship ended because my husband cheated on me, right? We say that, or my wife cheated on me, right? And it's like, okay, well, why did they cheat on you? Okay, well, then you find out the other person had been neglecting their partner sexually for 2 years, right? Oh, okay. Well, so then maybe it was their fault. Well, okay, well, why did they neglect them sexually? Well, it was because the other person, gained 400 pounds. It's like, okay, well, why did they gain it? And this is right? But you can go back and forth. It's like, so somebody might give an answer like, oh, this relationship ended because of this thing. And then somebody, it's not wrong, but it's not necessarily correct either. Like, it could be that people are motivated to vote for some culture war issue, but is it really at the end of the day because that issue like is in actuality affecting them in such a way that that's why they have such a strong opinion on it? Or are there a confluence of other factors where like they're not content with the economy, they consume a lot of a certain type of media, they just have like a general upsettedness in their life? Like, conservatives will scream and piss and shit and moan and cry against this. They'll say, it's impossible. It's impossible. Like, if people are mad about the transition of the economy, it's because 100%. It's 100% because those things are important. And it's like, you're going to tell me in one breath that social contagion is real and it can convince women to cut their breasts off and take hormones, but we can't have social contagion about caring about women cutting their breasts off and taking hormones? Like, how does that make sense? If you can social contagion somebody's way to being trans, why can't you social contagion someone's way to like being obsessed with like trans issues? Like, it works. It should work all ways, right? And if anything, I would imagine the propaganda angle is easier to get somebody to care about than actually convincing somebody to become trans, right? So,
are coming out and saying this was a massive strategic error because you're trying to basically tell people the sky is blue when it's red.
Here's the reality is that this wasn't an issue except for the fact that Republicans made it an issue. There was almost a $250 million disinformation campaign surrounding the issue of gender reassignment surgeries among trans inmates. This is a position that Kamala Harris has been virtually silent on for over the last 5 years, but they took a cherry-picked quote from 2019, shoehounded it into the narrative,
she said it.
put a ton of money from a very well-funded right-wing media ecosystem behind it, and convinced Americans that, again, an issue that Kamala Harris didn't say a word about in this election cycle is somehow the most important issue in this election cycle.
She had so much more money than Trump to spend. So much more money.
$1 billion.
But the idea
is that true? There's so many, the information is so inaccessible, and I hate how complicated all this shit is. People will say that Kamala outspent Trump 2 or 3 times as much. And then people will cite Trump versus Harris campaign spending. Where's the thing? The Biden and Harris campaigns have now spent $880.2 million in total this election cycle versus $354.9 million by Trump. So people will take this number and they'll say, oh, that's it. But there are two huge entities that I believe are not included in this. One I know is not, and the second I don't think it is. One is political action committees, PACs. Unless a PAC is like explicitly like called for like a campaign, I don't know if a PAC spending is even included in here. Okay, number one. And then number two, super PACs are absolutely not included in this. So when we say, well, Harris outspent Trump, okay, yeah, but like, what about the what about like Elon Musk's the super PAC that he was contributing to? That's not included in this. So why do we look at just these two numbers? Somebody linked this for Donald J. Trump for President 2024. This is his actual campaign. Okay, I believe these are just PACs, right? These wouldn't be super PACs because I don't know if a super PAC has to report anything. I don't think they do. So here we see that Donald Trump in his official campaign spent about $350 million, $345 million. The Make America Great Again, is this a PAC? They spent about as much as the campaign did, right? So that's 2x right there, okay? That's already, so we're already 2x of spending, right? And I'm sure we look for Kamala Harris. I'm sure she has PACs that spend for her as well. Let's see, Elon Musk, America PAC. Is this Elon Musk's PAC right here? Is this America PAC? Okay, so he had a political action committee, not a super PAC. Gotcha, okay. Damn, okay, never. I would have assumed that this would have been way more even, my bad. Okay, so the total... Okay, so this is a campaign committee. Okay, so the total combined expenditure of PACs and the Harris campaign would have been $1.65 billion. And then the total campaign expenditures for the Trump side on the PACs and campaign would have been $1.1 billion, I think, right? Is there information listed for super PACs? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Hold on. The financing shit gets really weird. Make America Great Again and America, these are considered super PACs, even though it's called a PAC. These are considered super PACs, right? How do you put a monetary value on Elon pushing and boosting him on X? That would be a hard thing to quantify. Would that have been in the hundreds of millions of dollars of advertising, though? Maybe not. But this makes it look like the total spending was probably about 1.5 to 1. It was about 1 billion to 1.5 billion. So about 1 point, so like one, I don't know how you'd say that, 1.5. They spent about 50% more. You read the total raised, not total spent. No, this is total spent. It's right here. So it's 1.5 billion to about 1 billion. And this doesn't get into the X or the Twitter or anything related to that. But just cash raised by the campaign itself does not necessarily encapsulate the spending from other groups, is a thing.
The idea that the right has the money here. It does not change the fact that what the right's money went to was a well-funded disinformation campaign.
Hang on. You say disinformation. Are you denying she said what we all heard her say?
No, but I am denying that it's her position, or that this was her position in the 2024 election cycle. Some comment that she has walked away from 5 years ago, before she was vice president, does not create.
Didn't people also buy Trump trading cards and stuff? Yes, but Trump trading cards and stuff, none of that funded any of the campaign. None of that actually funded the campaign. What somebody said, what's the difference between a PAC and a super PAC? A political action committee. I don't remember the C designations or whatever, the 4-1 or whatever, 5 whatever the bullshit designations or 5. I don't know. But a political action committee can work with a candidate directly. They have the ability to do these campaigns, but your contributions to a PAC are limited. You can't. Like if I were to donate to America PAC or some PAC, I think is it $3,000 or $3,500? You're limited to how much money you're allowed to donate. But a super PAC is not explicitly tied to a candidate. And a super PAC can raise however much money they want because you don't have the same restrictions on campaign finance stuff, and they don't have to make any reports, I believe, to the FEC. But they must make some reports to the FEC if we have data for it, right? We'll read more into this. I need to figure out more of the rules and restrictions around these. But I'm pretty sure they don't report like donors. That's why it's called like shadow money or whatever. You don't know who's donating everything to a super PAC. Maybe they just have to report the expenditures, but they don't report the money that they raise, maybe? This one here says they do disclose donors for this super PAC. I wonder if do all of them? Hold on, let's check. What's the point of a normal PAC? The normal PAC has the flexibility, I think, to work directly with the candidate, whereas a super PAC doesn't. This is saying all of these disclose donors, though. Why would you disclose donors and have a super PAC and say, oh, this one doesn't, I guess. But these are, now we're getting the smaller ones. I wonder why they disclose, sometimes they disclose, other times they don't. I don't know, I have to check. But like a long time ago when you saw like, the clearest, I think, kind of funny example of this is, there's like a ton of footage that was like dumped onto Ted Cruz YouTube channel. Like a ton of video footage here. The reason why all of this video footage was dumped onto this channel is because Ted Cruz's campaign is not allowed to provide footage to or work explicitly with super PACs. So what they ended up doing is they made like an unlisted, or they made, I think these videos are unlisted. Or maybe they're not. Maybe they're listed, and you can go and look through all of them. They dumped a whole bunch of videos on this channel so that if you are a super PAC and you do want to use footage from Ted Cruz, you can just go to this channel. You can pick and edit what you want without the campaign working directly with you, basically. Yeah. So that was kind of like a clever workaround, I guess, or whatever. But this might even be really common. It might be. I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong or illegal here, but that's like the reason why I think that was done. But okay. We should add more to that. PAC versus super PAC. I'll read more about this in the future.
Create her position now, but nobody would know that. Nobody would know that.
Right. Simple question. Ben,
if I could just have 1 second to finish this. I know that you want to shoot it in, but you don't have to be quiet until I finish my comment. If there wasn't such a well-funded effort, I could do the same thing, bro. I could just talk over you the whole time as well.
I'm asking you a genuine question about members of Congress. Name any Republicans that had trans flags in front of their offices, and then tell me how many Democrats had trans flags in the halls of Congress. You cannot tell me this wasn't an issue.
What? How about the fact that one of the Supreme Court justices for 3 days flew a fucking MAGA flag outside of his house after the January 6th shit? Like what?
When there were congressmen and senators,
the notion that because somebody acknowledges,
they made it an issue. They made it an issue, man.
Do you just want to yell, or do you want to actually have a conversation? Because I know that you love the sound of your voice. But the fact that somebody wants to yell. Ben, my dude, I know you just want to yell. Like it's great that you have your own show. You can do that into a camera with nobody interrupting you the whole time. The fact that somebody can acknowledge the humanity of trans people is not the same as the issue of gender reassignment surgeries for trans inmates. And if you ask the majority of Americans, because of this very well-funded right-wing disinformation campaign, where again, $250 million was put behind this thing, that is why the vast majority of Americans thought it was.
Okay, look, before I come to Dave Rubin, I actually want to bring in an extra guest, the former Democratic congressional candidate Brianna Wu, who is also a trans woman. Brianna, welcome to Uncensored. I can't think of anyone better.
Oh no. Oh boy. This is going to be the hopefully this isn't the bridge burning. Good luck.
Democratic congressional candidate Brianna Wu, who is also a trans woman. Brianna, welcome to Uncensored. I can't think of anyone better qualified, given you're the only trans member of the panel now, to respond to what our two liberal friends are saying.
I'll be trans if you'll give me a chance to talk.
You've had so many shows.
There's something actually there. There's something there, Dave.
It's always some gay person that's talking on our behalf. So I'm really excited today to talk about how everyone here is wrong. David, I love your show. I consider you a friend.
I can't be wrong.
Thoughts on her lighting and mic? Huge light source in the background is a big no. It looks like we're using kind of like softening or whatever filter on the face, which isn't necessarily bad, but then we also are overexposed on the face too. I think she has a ring light on or something. The lighting setting is very warm. I think that it should be probably a bit colder. And obviously the image is overexposed, so not great, okay? Best lighting in this thing, I would probably say, I hate to say this, but probably goes to Dave Rubin. I like that our fill here is a bit darker than the key, so we got some nice shadowing on the face, nice bokeh'd out background here. So we've got like good aperture settings and everything. The set design is kind of cute. Pakman's is pretty good as well. He's even got a little rim line here for his hair, so that it's like nice and shown in the background. I like that. But I think Rubin's whole setup is probably visually the best. Huey and the News, their album was probably...
The Democrats are completely wrong about what trans people need. We don't need you advocating for, trans vaginoplasties in prison. We need to retreat back to the basics of what we need, which is HRT and healthcare. And the problem is the Democrats have been captured by this fringe left. They've redefined what trans means to all this non-binary nonsense and all this stuff that has nothing to do with how we got our rights in the first place. Ben, you can appreciate this. I was the first trans person to ever transition at Ole Miss, our alma mater. That was very...
Don't like the big black bar on the right. That is true, actually. This should be cleaned up or something different. Maybe, but maybe it does work. I'm not sure. I think Brianna is either falling for the trap of or is helping to ensnare people in that whole, like, nobody cares about this shit, bro. Nobody's talking about it. No mainstream Democratic politician is talking about this shit, okay? Nobody, like...
Very different. It was 20 years ago, hotty-totty. And the thing is, the way I got equality and got people to respect me in Mississippi was not by screaming at them or lecturing them about my pronouns. It was getting them to...
Here's a question. I have a legitimate question. For all the people saying in chat, and I used to say this too, and I still do think that it's I think it's a good point, and I will still say this, right? You should disavow crazies on your side. Sure, that is true, and you probably should, at least every now and then. Yeah, these people are crazy. I disavow them, or not even disavow. These people are crazy. They don't represent me. When was the last time any Republican in media or in Congress ever denounced another mainstream Republican or mainstream media creator ever? Ever. Give me an example over the last 4 years, over the last 8 years. People that weren't immediately eviscerated and then called rhinos, right? When does this ever happen? On Open Secret, are they combining the Harris and Biden money, or is it just Harris? It should be combined because it was the Biden-Harris campaign and she was able to inherit all the funds. Yeah, I don't even know if the Republicans didn't even denounce is it Mark Robinson? The black Nazi dude. What the black Nazi guy? Even this guy still ran. He lost his race, but even he, what the fuck? Bro, like, come on.
To see my humanity. This is something trans people have just completely lost. And the problem is
Hold on. I need you to understand this. This is so important, okay? Because somebody said only Donald Trump does it, but he is immune. He's called later. What I'm asking for is when do people ever criticize on the Republican side the in-group? Now, I think that you might have a temptation to go, well, Donald Trump goes after the in-group sometimes, but he doesn't go after the in-group. Donald Trump decides the in-group. So when you see Donald Trump attacking somebody from the in-group, he's not actually attacking somebody in the in-group. He's saying that actually they're part of the out-group. That's the point of the rhino accusation. Donald Trump doesn't criticize somebody from the position of, this guy is making mistakes right now and, whatever. It's, he's not even a real Republican. He doesn't support us. We're going to primary him, right? It seems like whatever, but it's an important distinction.
Democratic Party is unwilling to call out these bad actors. And because of this, we are having a conversation that does not serve trans people. Piers, I am begging you.
I would say the closest I remember is Marjorie Taylor Greene denouncing, or Marjorie Greene Taylor, you put MTG, denouncing Laura Loomer after the racist tweets about Indian food / spice in the White House. No offense to Laura, or take offense. Laura Loomer is not anybody, though. What do you mean? That's not like a huge political figure. That's not a lawmaker. She's not, right? Laura Loomer doesn't hold any elected office or anything, right? I mean, she's just like a shit poster online, right? And that's it. Like,
this show, stop inviting these stupidest leftists on to make the argument for trans civil rights. Let some people actually understand this stuff. And Dave is laughing because you understand integration as a gay man. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You've done the same playbook your whole career.
Isn't that what we should do for the people who are crazy on the left, though? Put them in the out group? I mean, not everybody. I think that's dishonest, but to some extent, yes. We shouldn't be, again, but this goes back to my big media criticism. We shouldn't be saying that, like, oh yeah, like all of us on the left are on the same team. Us and Jimmy Dore and Crystal Ball and, the far left, Sun Piker, all these people, like, we're all on the same team. We're not on the same team. And people need to stop pretending. That way we don't have to, yeah.
Well,
this works.
First off, I'm only gay. I'm only gay starting at 10 p.m. What time is it? We'll have to check on that. But actually, you're completely right, Brianna. You're completely right. What's happening with the left is that these saviors, these progressive warriors that you see in these boxes here, think that they know more about these people than they know about themselves.
Ridiculous.
And by the way, this has nothing to do with a well-funded evil money machine that the Republicans were doing. There's something called boys and girls, and
Ruben's
they are
the right guy to talk about that, isn't he?
Most parents. Oh God, you're such a smug prick. Listen, most parents actually want to defend their daughters and
like.
Evil money machine.
I hate that I forgot about this, and I didn't even understand the comment Pakman made, but now I do remember the comment that Pakman made. I forgot that Dave Rubin had $4 million of Russian money funded into his shit to make 300 view videos for Tenet last year. And he's talking about
then they know about themselves.
Ridiculous.
And by the way, this has nothing to do with a well-funded evil money machine that the Republicans were doing. There's something called boys and girls. And
Ruben, like you literally you were part of the well-funded evil money machine. You literally were. You literally, that is literally what you're describing. You're describing your own shit, your own media empire.
Right guy to talk about that, isn't it?
Most parents, oh God, you're such a smug prick. Listen, most parents.
And look, not a shame. Not an ounce of shame, not an ounce of humility. This guy who took $4 or $5 million of Kremlin money for his media enterprise, right? This is the guy saying, like, don't you think you guys need to talk about trans issues less? It's like, hello? Just to be clear, you're the guy that took $4 or $5 million from Putin to do media last year, right? What percentage of your income was that? My guess is probably 60 to 80%. I bet it was the majority of his income last year. You're going to lecture us on
actually want to defend their daughters and don't want them to have the crap kicked out of them by boys, and they don't want them to be playing boys in soccer or any of these other things. That is a defense of girls. If someone, as an adult, 18, 21, we can discuss the age, wants to dress how they want, have any surgeries, take whatever drugs, do whatever they want with their body, most people, even Republicans, don't object to that. And I have no problem referring to Brianna as she, because I can clearly sense she would treat me with respect and I'll treat her with respect. And it's a two-way street rather than pandering and bowing to a bunch of people that could not give a crap about anybody else.
Yeah, and David, hang on, let me bring in David Pakman again, because you were very quick when I asked how you felt about being so wrong about this, to accuse me of being misleading, disinformation, misconstruing a United Nations report. So because we're a very nimble team here, while you were talking, they just went and double-checked, because I was curious what you were talking about. And we found the United Nations report. And it's not a footnote, as you said, it's page 5 of the report. It says, and I quote, the United Nations says nearly 900 biological females have fallen short of the podium because they were beaten out by trans athletes. The findings were compiled by the UN's Rapporteur on Violence Against Women, entitled Violence Against Women and Girls in Sport. The report said more than 600 athletes didn't medal in more than 400 competitions in 29 different sports, totaling over 890 medals. The replacement of the female sports category with a mixed sex category as results, totaling over 890.
What is this report? Hold on. Opportunity for fair and safe competition. I don't even remember what the claims made about this. Okay, this is, I don't remember how to read these. Okay, so UN General Assembly, violence against women and girls, its causes and consequences, noted by the General Secretary. The Secretary General. Secretary General is this like the head person of all the UN at any given point in time, or? Is the Chief Administrative Officer of the UN and head of the United Nations Secretariat, one of the 6 principal organs of the, okay, yes, okay, yep. Okay, the Secretary General has the honor to transmit to the General Assembly the report of the Special Rapporteur on Violence Against Women and Girls, its causes and consequences, Reem al-Salem, in accordance with Assembly Resolution 77193. Let's just refresh real quick on this. Intensification of effort to prevent and eliminate all forms of violence against women and men, gender stereotypes, and negative social norms. Okay, so just a resolution to say we should talk about women's violence more. Okay. Okay, and then this was on page 5. Wait, he's reading Opportunity for Fair and Safe Competition. Okay. Manifestation of violence against women and girls in sports. Women and girls in sports face widespread overlapping array of forms of manifestation of violence at all levels, including female sports officials are vulnerable to physical violence when eligibility norms are deliberately violated, when the risk of injury to athletes is knowingly increased. The physical harm sustained can be characterized as violence. Examples of physical violence include being deliberately subjected to physical punishment or initiation rituals. Corporal punishment in sport, for example, the practice known as taibatsu in Japan has led to lifelong injuries for children, including girls, or death. Jesus Christ. Female athletes are also more vulnerable to sustaining serious physical injuries when female-only sports spaces are open to males. As documented in discipline such as in volleyball, basketball, and soccer. Does this mean like just men, or do they mean trans men? The source is 9. Aaron Steinberg, injured North Carolina volleyball player, urges transgender ban for female. Oh my God. I know this was the one thing that we read. Right? This is the story of that one girl. It's a New York Post story. We watched this. I don't believe that this spike was even outside of the boundaries of like what an ordinary female volleyball player spiking would have been. I don't even think this was. We did a lot of reading on this a long time ago, but or a lot, not a lot. We did like a couple hours on this, but what? Okay. She basically like she took a fucking shot like right to the fucking face. She got blasted. Let me see if I can find the video on this. Does it still play? And after this, she like immediately goes on her conservative media tour. Fuck, I don't know if anybody has it, but we never found the original full video. We didn't. I think we found there was like a 10-second clip of what happened. Oh yeah, because Riley Gaines, our other big anti-trans. I think she's over here. Oh no. Okay, yeah. This is the secret mail. That was the yeah. I think there are people that tried to like measure the speed of the spike and everything, and they were like, "This is within the norms for like what a biological female would spike a ball." But this girl took like a fucking massive hit right to the face, and it was like, "You're probably always going to be." You're probably always going to be fucked with it. But I think she tried to claim afterwards that she had like serious injuries or brain injuries or something, but we could never like verify any of that. Wait, Destiny emailed you about this. She fucking lied. She played basketball after this. She said it was debilitating. It wasn't. She wasn't even permanently injured. Yeah, I don't think I ever saw good evidence of that. But also, I don't know. It's a smaller. I don't know. But yeah. Okay, so some women and girls have self-excluded from certain sports, believing those activities are not appropriate for them due to sex and gender stereotypes. Beliefs often reinforced by media. The self-inclusion tends to increase as they grow. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. We went too far down. Okay. As documented in disciplines such as in volleyball, basketball, and soccer. God, bro. Listen, even if our Supreme Court is bad sometimes, the sourcing in the UN is really bad. These underlying citations, if you read them on UN reports, it is really hit or miss. So it's funny to me. If I was a professor, you would get a flunky. This wouldn't count. Okay. So we have female, and I'm not even saying the argument is right or wrong. I'm just saying that like this citation is really bad. Female athletes are also more vulnerable to sustaining serious physical injuries when female-only sports spaces are opened to males. So first of all, this is a broad claim that I'm imagining your source here is going to be either some data, some study, some sample. It's going to be more than just one story. I don't believe that this statement can be supported with one story. Number one. Number two, as documented in disciplines such as volleyball, now we have 10, a different source. This citation here to 10 right here, injured volleyball player speaks out after alleged transgender opponent spiked ball at her. This is the same story, isn't it? Like, look at the dates. The New York Post story was April 21st, 2023. This was April 20th, 2023. They're citing the exact same story, just from two different publications. What? This is not good writing. This is bad research. But whatever. No, I'm not even saying their argument is necessarily right or wrong, but Jesus. At least citation 11. Abby Patkin, injuries involving trans basketball player at Massachusetts school spark controversy. At least this one is a different story, but... The coach saw 3 more girls go down in the first half. Jesus Christ, basketball. What are you guys doing to each other? Holy fuck. The clip of a rough play from the February 8th game made the rounds online, where it was reposted by former collegiate swimmer Riley Gaines. Thank God we've got Riley here. Yes. Somebody linked in chat. Picture from the college or the high school girls basketball story. Is it wrong to cite the same article if it can verify 2 different claims? Keep in mind that I feel like I've done enough research and I have a good enough understanding that if professors disagree with me, fuck them, I'm right and they're wrong, okay? But this is what I would say when it comes to good research practice, in my opinion. If you're going to cite the same story for 2 different claims, that's fine, but do the same citation. Don't do a different citation of a different media outlet reporting on the same story. I think that's disingenuous. It makes it look like you're citing to more things that have happened than have actually happened. That comes off to me as telling a lie. So for instance, if they wanted to do like citation 9 here, even though I don't think it's a good citation, but they do citation 9 here, and then they also put like the annotation or the superscript or whatever, if they do 9 here as well, okay, fine, do that. But don't do 2 separate citations to 2 separate media things reporting on the same story. In my opinion, that's bad. I don't want to say it's bad practice. Maybe in colleges, maybe they do say that's okay. I don't think that's okay. I think you're, like if I were to say that like a number of murders, or if I were to say like murders are a huge issue in Chicago, and then citation 1, and then I say like the people, like the majority of murderers are black, and I do citation 2, and the majority of gang violence is happening because of whatever, and the majority, and these people are happening, and also these people are raping, and you go and you find every single citation is literally going to a different media article that's reporting on the same event, and I'd be like, wait a second, hold on, that's not okay. But yeah. Okay, hold on. I don't know fuck all about basketball, to be fair, but did she even touch the other girl, or did the other girl just fall trying to get the rebound or whatever? Wait, what? What? I might be retarded. I don't know fuck all about basketball. I'm being honest, but hold on. So she's got the ball here. This girl. Oh, no. Okay, so there's kind of like movement here. So she's trying to get the rebound here. She twists, and then she falls. Falls or was slammed to the ground, maybe, I guess? Dominated. This girl, though, does seem very tall. But I don't know anything about... I don't know enough about... Kim Academy. Is this collegiate charter school? So this is college as well, but... Okay, sorry, back to this. Don't you know about the Midwest Dutch girls who are all fucking 6'7"? People from, I always want to say Norway. The Netherlands are freakishly tall. let's see. And then 12 and 13, we have submission by Feminist Legal Clinic. I don't know what that is, but okay. Instances have been reported where adult males have been included in teams of underage girls. I wonder if that means like you have like seniors in high school who are 18, and then there are seniors in high school who are 17. Is that what they're talking about there? Or injuries have, because that's a citation that we can't follow, just a submission by International Consortium on Female Sports. How is that a trans issue? Well, my guess is that the author of this report, who I think is I want to say she's a Muslim. Don't we know who the author? Haven't we seen she write stuff on Israel Palestine? Or am I mixing her up with somebody else? Not that necessarily plays into it. But see, look, conservatives, you have alliances with some people, right? My guess is she's not very pro-trans, so she has so she just calls them adult males. Every time she says like open to males or adult males, she's referring to like trans women there. She's calling them males basically, which maybe is the ordinary language for UN reports on this. I don't know. I would be surprised if that was the case, but it's possible. According to one scientific study, males have certain performance advantages in sports. One study asserts that even in non-elite sports, the least powerful man produced more power than the most powerful woman. It states that where men and women have roughly the same levels of fitness, males' average punching power has been measured as 162% greater than females. Same levels of fitness. Okay. Probably true for yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Low-key, this author fails the October 7th check. Yes. If this is who I'm thinking of, this lady is fucking crazy. Reem Al-Salam. We've read stuff, I think, from her on a lot of Israel Palestine stuff. I believe if she's the same one I'm thinking of. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think she thinks any of the rape stuff is real for the Israel Palestine stuff. Or the Israelis might have raped Palestinians, but not the other way around. Okay, so this UN report is probably going to show exactly what Piers wants it to show. The funny thing is if you were to actually, because now in just reading this, and I'm not trying to say that, I'm not even in favor of trans women being in cis women's sports. I don't even think that's good. But the author of this clearly hates trans people. So I feel like you could literally just read, you could probably have so much more from this report that would fucking obliterate any left-leaning person that was trying to defend this or say that the report didn't say this. But since nobody actually reads any of these fucking UN reports, conservatives included, they're not even going to be able to cite anything else from this. But this is why I say be very, very, very careful with UN shit. You need to read the underlying material because yeah, some of the UN stuff is crazy. Okay, he was under Opportunity for Fair and Safe Competition. Policies implemented by international federations and national governing bodies, along with national legislation in some countries, allows males who identify as women to compete in female sports categories. In other cases, this practice is not explicitly prohibited and is thus tolerated in practice. The replacement of the female sports category with a mixed sex category has resulted in an increasing number of female athletes losing opportunities, including medals, when competing against males. According to information received by the 30th of March 2024, over 600 female athletes in more than 400 competitions have lost more than 890 medals in 29 different sports. What is this? Submission from Women's Liberation Front, International Consortium on Female Sport, and oh fuck. Also, why is this an acceptable citation? Is it listed at the bottom somewhere? All the submissions from them? So because this here, when I'm reading this, I can't tell what is being said. Because the author is so transphobic, I can't even tell what they're trying to say here. The replacement of the female sports category with a mixed set category has resulted in an increasing number of female athletes losing opportunities. Is she just talking about trans women being included with cis women? Or is she talking about the replacement of a female sports category with a mixed sex category? Because nobody's in favor of that. And when they talk about this, how many medals and everything were lost, they're talking about the replacement of the female sports category with what looks like a mixed set category. So they're eliminating a female sports category and just having like an all anybody can compete. But of course that's going to result in women. But that's not specifically a trans issue. Unless she's talking about the mixed sex category being trans women included, but it's so hard to tell because she's not even using, I guess, like the language you would expect to see. So
90 medals. The replacement by the UN's rapporteur females have fallen short of the podium because they were beaten up by trans athletes. The findings were compiled by the UN's rapporteur.
So like this right here, was it by trans athletes? I actually can't tell. I can't tell in reading this because she. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, she doesn't even use the word trans in that entire category. So I actually have absolutely no idea what the fuck she's talking about. Well, maybe she says identified as. Okay, we get rights of transgender persons down here, but so this here, it could be difficult to write this because of the international audience. No. The author of this has a very clear disposition. She might be like a British feminist or whatever, one of these people, like a rad femme or whatever. This is funny. This section here called Rights of Transgender Persons, this isn't a section on like rights of transgender persons. This is a section saying that like, listen, even though we want to exclude trans people from these sports categories, it doesn't actually violate their rights. Rights of transgender person. So like 85, according to international human rights law, differential treatment on prohibited grounds may not be discriminatory if it's based on reasonable and objective criteria, it pursues a legitimate aim, its effects are appropriate and proportional to the legitimate aim pursued, and it is the least intrusive option to achieve the intended result. Maintaining separate sex sports is a proportional action that corresponds to legitimate aims within the meaning of Article 26 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and does not automatically result in the exclusion of transgender persons from sports, nor does it require invasive sex screenings. When combined with other measures, such as open categories, fairness in sports can be maintained while ensuring the ability of all to participate, a course of action followed by several professional sports associations. Damn, this lady is. She hates them. Whew, okay. Which I can respect it. What's your opinion on trans people in sports again? I don't think that trans women should compete with cis women. Okay. Are you Christian? No? Christian Zionists love being unhinged anti-Semites. I can't even tell what's happening right now. Anti-Semitic streamer Destiny tells an anti-Zionist Jewish man who lives in Brooklyn to go back to his home country, Israel. Destiny then admits the only reason he's a pro-Israel Zionist is because he really hates Arabs. Really? Right. Yes.
Oh, don't start with that. I don't like that. Anyway, but we don't have to talk about that crap. What do you say? First of all, what do you think Brooklyn is? I'm literally in the...
Okay.
On violence against women entitled Violence Against Women and Girls in Sport. The report said more than 600 athletes didn't medal in more than 400 competitions in 29 different sports, totaling over 890 medals. The replacement...
I also really... Oh, God, fuck. I don't want to get too into the weeds on this. I'm sorry. The UN shit really triggers the fuck out of me sometimes. And I hate that now it seems like I'm like simping hardcore for trans people. I'm not really. I just like, if you're writing shit, it should be accurate. And the writing on this is very bad. What is the source for that? I'm so curious here. 29. The source is Submission from Women's Liberation Front, International Consortium on Female Sport, and Diane Post on behalf of Lavender Patch. Well, like, what is this? Can somebody, the supporting documents are here. Okay. Call for input to the report of the special rapporteur. Okay. Inputs received. Okay. Women's Liberation Front. Input 1 and input 2. The Women Something Liberation Front focuses on the human rights of women and girls ignored by mainstream feminist organizations, including the right to sex. It's just an anti-trans organization. Everybody in this org is British also, guaranteed. I bet this is either going to be my greatest cinematic moment ever, or we're just going to wipe this from the VOD. Women's Liberation Front. I want to hear her speak. She's going to be British.
I'm Leah Keith, the founder of Wolf, calling all women to the front. If you know that women's reproductive sovereignty is absolute.
Okay, look at that hair. She's British coded, okay? Wipe the VOD.
If you want to funny, come to Santa Fe, March 8th.
Santa Fe? That's south of London, I think. Okay, one more. Hold on. We're going to run it one more time. Hold on. One more time. Okay, hold on. Here. I think that's the same woman, right? Her?
I'm not the only person on this stage tonight.
Okay, this one's going to be British.
And flutes, apparently. This has been true across the globe.
Okay, fuck these people. Okay, fuck them. Fuck these people. Okay, are you serious? They're usually British, okay? You debated her? Was that the Megyn Kelly person? Is that the same?
And women's group.
Wait, is it Megyn Kelly? Or is that the Fox News girl? Who am I thinking of? Megan Murphy. Oh, is that? Oh, God. I remember her. What a horrible conversation. This one? I'm asking you.
I want to talk about this.
Oh, dude. My God. Okay, sorry. Anyway, where were we? Okay. I just wanted to see the sourcing on this. What a waste of my fucking time right now. Okay, female athletes face all this bullshit. No one cares. Where were we at? Okay. 600 female athletes. Okay, 890 medals. That's what I want. Control F, 890. Okay, Control F, medals. Okay. Maybe it's in this one. Control F, 890. Okay, Control F, medals. Athletes. Hello? Wait. New regulation threatens. Okay, it's not on this one. Maybe this one? Oh, I responded to her on Twitter. This chick. May I introduce you to a grown man who not only orders hot chocolate, but pays an Uber driver to deliver it to him at home. This lady. I got like a 20 or 30,000 tweet reply for this. I'll take it. Thank you, Megan. Oh, never mind. 19,000. My bad. Okay, wait, where is this? Where does this come from? Source 29, submission from Women's Liberation Front, International post on behalf of Lavender Patch. Okay, what about this? Right. A new regulation threatens to end female-only sports. Wait, is this just the same thing twice? It's Control F 800? No, I Control F metals. Wait, where? Wait, what is the source for this? Hold on. What was the, somebody link me the page that had the, there is a thing saying 900 instances. Oh, wait. Was there? Did I just miss it? Hold on. This was on the 31, no. Okay, Women's Liberation Front. Okay. Control F 900. Okay. An organization formed to keep track of males claiming victory in female sports has identified. What is that citation? What? Many sports, including incredibly boxing, have adopted policies that allow males to compete in female-only categories. An organization formed to keep track of males claiming victory in female sports has identified over 900 instances in which males deprive female athletes of records, scholarships, or other opportunities, many of those involving female sport in the United States. What? Hello? Well, okay. So that's it. So our sources, we made it the fuck up. Unless there's... Oh, Leah Thomas. Oh, no. In the absence of a blanket ban, males have competed in female sports at all levels and across sport categories. William Leah Thomas's domination of women swimming in the elite category. David is correct. The citation is down the bottom. The source is a right-wing think tank, Save Women group. Wait, where? Down here? Save Women. Or what? This is what they cite to in this UN report, is 31. No, wait. That wasn't what they were cited to. They cited to 29. 29 was submission from the Women's Liberation Front. And Diane Post. Well, hold on. Oh, wait. And Diane Post. Hold on. So there's a second thing here. Oh, wait, this is like a whole ass website. Hold on. Okay, it's not. And the lavender patch? Oh, okay. Lavender patch. Okay, we got another thing here. Okay. This submission is from Lavender Patch, a lesbian feminist organization that for 15 years held women-born women music festivals and supports the protection and proliferation of women's music and culture. Are trans women taking over the music groups as well? The testosterone threshold for males who want to compete as women is 10 nanomoles per liter, which is 5 times greater than the highest level of testosterone any woman produces without doping. Average female test level. is 0.5 to 2.4 nanomoles per liter. Wait. Oh, fuck me. 10 nanomoles per liter. Is the... okay. Is this... I'm guessing this is your... Fuck, it's AI. Is this your reference range? So anything outside of this would be considered abnormal? Or is this just the... I wonder what the highest levels of testosterone are measured in women that in cis women. But I bet it's probably really hard to do highest levels of test in cis women, because then you would have to define cis women, which gets really weird. Because I think there are some conditions that make you produce more testosterone that people would say make you like intersex or intersex-ish. I wonder. Yeah, fuck all that shit. That's complicated. Okay. That is, it does seem high though. I wonder what the cutoff is for men. Wouldn't you expect high-performing athletes to have higher levels of T as well? Yeah, but generally I don't think high levels of T are outside of the reference range. I don't believe. I could be wrong on that though. Okay, so this doesn't say anything about the medals either, but okay. Okay, so it's just, we're just supposed to go through this website, I guess. Number of female athletes, number of medals, number of competitions, number of sports. Okay. So these are the names of trans athletes that are winning sport events. I'm guessing, right? Anytime you're talking a state title, is that always going to be collegiate, like college level sports, or can that be high school level as well? That could include high school as well? Okay. Because this is NHIAA, New Hampshire something, NHIAA. What is this including? Interscholastic Athlete Association. Is the governing body for sports competitions among all public and some private high school. Okay, so this is even including high schools as well. Okay, gotcha. Because when it was saying medals and stuff, I was curious, are there really that many trans women in fucking, are there really that many trans women in like the Olympics? But okay, so according to information received by the 30th of March 2024, over 600 female athletes in more than 400 competitions have lost more than 890 medals in 20 different sports. Okay, so this 890 medals in 400 competitions, this is including, this is including all of high school sports as well. Okay, which doesn't necessarily make it. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, and this is worldwide. Not just in the United States. I'm sorry, I just noticed that as well. Because this is like, so these are the USA, which I imagine would make up most of these. Okay, makes up about 70% of these, maybe, depending on how far down we scrolled. But then it's got like in the UK, some of these are listed with absolutely no link at all. I wonder what some of these events even are. The Dirty River at Kildare Forest, mountain biking, overall women's ranking. Is it right up? Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay, Okay, so these are UK, Switzerland, Spain. Okay, Jesus Christ. All right. All right, my bad. Okay, that took way too long. Going back. Jesus. Okay, so that's what that citation is.
And it's not a footnote, as you said, it's page 5 of the report. It says, and I quote, the United Nations says nearly 900 biological females have fallen short of the podium because they were beaten up by trans athletes. The findings were compiled by the UN's Rapporteur on Violence Against Women, entitled Violence Against Women and Girls in Sport. The report said more than 600 athletes didn't medal in more than 400 competitions in 29 different sports, totaling over 890 medals. The replacement of the female sports category with a mixed sex category has resulted in an increasing number of female athletes losing opportunities, including medals, when competing against males. The report said. So, David, again, would you like to now apologise for being not only wrong about this being an election issue, but being wrong about your correction when I asked you if you were sorry for being wrong?
Look at the underlying source, Piers. I have it printed out.
You said it was a footnote. It wasn't a footnote.
Look at the underlying source. Now, I do want to say one thing about this.
I wonder what was Pakman's original claim here? Oh, we're spending so much time on just one thing. Is there a transcript? When did Pakman bring up that he was wrong about this? What did Pakman say about it? Fuck, if somebody can find me the original thing, then go for it, yeah.
I actually agree with a lot of what Brianna and what Dave Rubin said. I actually agree with I am not the same.
His original claim is that it was only a footnote. Well, what does that even mean? Like, what does it mean when we say something is only a footnote? Like, a footnote is just a citation to a fact, right? Okay, hold on. We're at 1830. Let's go back here.
Dishonest you were, Piers, during that.
So, look, on reflection, David, do you want to admit you were completely and hopelessly wrong about this?
No, in fact, in the aftermath, we figured out how dishonest you were, Piers, during that. And hopefully we can get a little bit of an opportunity. So let me lay it out. First of all, I went back and looked at the UN report in more detail. The UN report said nothing of the sort that you said. What you were referring to dishonestly was one footnote from an anti-trans organization making completely unsubstantiated claims. So I will wait for the apology from you. The UN
now I need to know what was Piers' initial claim.
Report doesn't say that, but that wasn't the crux of your question. Second part of it, that ad for prisoners.
Compete against our girls and their
prisoners. Was it brought up in this
the Liberal Bible did a whole piece about the ad that Trump ran, which is the Kamala for they them, Donald Trump's for you. They said it was one of the most effective 30-second spots in political history and may have shifted the race, according to her own side, by 2.7 percentage points in Trump's favor after people watched it. Let's take a look at the ad before I come to you.
I don't want my taxpayer dollars going
against our girls.
So, look, on reflection, David, do you want to admit you were completely and hopelessly wrong about this?
No, in fact, in the aftermath, we figured out how dishonest you were, Piers, during that. And hopefully we can get a little bit of an opportunity. So let me lay it out. First of all, I went back and looked at the UN report in more detail. The UN report said nothing of the sort that you said. What you were referring to dishonestly was one footnote from an anti-trans organization making completely unsubstantiated claims. So I will wait for the apology from you. The UN report doesn't say that, but that wasn't the crux of your question. Second part of it, that ad with Kamala. I would have loved Kamala to respond to it.
So wrong about this report. And it's not a footnote, as you said, it's page 5 of the report. It says, and I quote, the United Nations says nearly 900 biological...
Okay, Jesus, okay. Somebody should find me the original. I'm curious. They said, wait, the claim that David is talking about. Oh, that's good. I wanted to spend all night on this one thing.
Politics,
just because I'm only doing this because I know that Josiah wants to kill himself.
I think it's fantastic, by the way.
David, let me ask you this.
Politics as a cudgel.
David, let me ask you this. One of the things she stands for, along with Joe Biden, is she has done nothing while they've been in office to stem this, in my view, horrendously unfair situation of trans athletes competing in women's sports. And an astonishing survey has just come out today by the United Nations that reveals that female athletes have lost 900 medals to transgender rivals competing against them in women's sporting categories. This is a UN report. That's 600 female athletes in more than 400 competitions have lost nearly 900 medals in 29 different sports. When the average American sees that both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris now support this unfairness, and that's what it is. It's just unfair. It's nothing to do with being transphobic or anything else. It's just unfair. I mean, it's supported by...
So the UN report did not show that? Well, the UN report, the citation does show that. But when we say female athletes across these categories, at least in my mind, personally, I'm thinking like Olympic or professional level, maybe college level. I wouldn't have thought that would include like high school people that just lose, or people doing random races, basically. But so...
A report like that from the UN, that's one of her problems too, is that people think they're supporting the indefensible. They lack basic common sense. What do you say to that?
I'm struggling to think that you're taking this any more seriously.
But okay. Jesus, what a fucking rabbit hole. All right.
females have fallen short of the podium because they were beaten out by trans athletes. The findings were
What's the source?
compiled, didn't medal in more than 400 competitions in 29 different sports, totaling the number of female athletes losing opportunities, including medals, when competing against males. The report said. So, David, again, would you like to now apologise for being not only wrong about this being an election issue, but being wrong about your correction when I asked you if you were sorry for being wrong?
Look at the underlying source, Piers. I have it printed out.
It was a footnote. It wasn't a
look at
footnote.
the underlying source. Now, I do want to say one thing about this. I actually agree with a lot.
What is Pakman's Twitter or YouTube video that he made about this? I'm curious.
What Brianna and what Dave Rubin said. I actually agree with I am not the savior here to do X, Y, or Z for trans people. What I'm saying is I don't actually think I even need to play that role. I don't think this is the issue that maybe you think I believe it to be. So I agree with a lot of what Dave Rubin and Brianna said there. I do think it's important to consider that when Dave Rubin talks about well-funded this or that, his Russian money source just dried up, and he's the last person who should be talking about funding sources. And to be honest, Dave, hold on a second. Hold on. I can't even hear, but why would Ben jump in? I'm not even addressing Ben.
Hang on. You made a very direct charge against Dave Rubin. Let Dave Rubin reply to that.
No one believes your BS anymore. Jesus Christ, these people are so
They've been
pathetic.
indicted, Rubin. The tenant media people were indicted.
I got indicted.
And it said in the report, if you weren't a smug prick to quote
I didn't
earlier,
say Rubin
the
was
report
indicted. I just said the money
explicitly
dried up.
that Dave Rubin and the others involved did not know about it.
You made a very direct charge against Dave Rubin. Let Dave Rubin reply.
The last person who should be talking about funding sources. And to be honest, Dave, hold on a second. Hold on. I can't even hear, but why would Ben jump in? I'm not even addressing Ben.
Hang on. You made a very direct charge against Dave Rubin. Let Dave Rubin reply to that.
No one believes your BS anymore. Jesus Christ, these people are
They've
so
been
pathetic.
indicted, Rubin. The tenant media people were indicted.
I got indicted.
And it said in the report, if you weren't a smug prick to quote
I
earlier,
didn't say Rubin was indicted. I just said the money dried up.
that Dave Rubin and the others involved did not know about it. And this is why people think you're kind of a jackass.
Yes, this is why everyone hates
putting words in my mouth.
This is the reason why you read the report. And by the way, Pakman, if this happened to you,
Bro, my life has changed because of Vyvanse. Oh my God. They just needed to read all the underlying material. I've read the indictments. I would rake these fuckers over the coals because I read the indictments and I know what's in for, and I know the amount of money that was paid, and I know how much money people like Dave Rubin make, and I know that he knew that this money was bullshit. But they haven't read the underlying material. I don't think Brian or Pakman. No offense to them, by the way. Also, it's boring. There's a lot of shit to go through, but I don't think they've read all the underlying material. You need somebody who is like autistically committed to like the dumb fucking dive that we just did on this fucking train shit. So you can say with specificity exactly what's being said, because these guys will endlessly obfuscate and endlessly pivot and then endlessly not take accountability for anything if you don't like have the desire or the time or whatever to like autistically go into all of the shit or whatever. Dave Rubin knew he was getting fucking paid by illegitimate sources. He is not worth that much money. I know what the viewership was on his videos on that tenant media channel. They were in like the hundreds. There's no shot that he thought that this was a legitimate deal ever. There's just no possible way this was ever happening in a legitimate manner. He knows this, but you have to know all the
And in the
Ben's
report,
coming
it said
to
you
his
were
defense.
unaware. If it said that you were unaware, I would defend you because I don't think you indict people for things.
I'm
And the federal
defending
government says in the
Dave. I'm defending
indictment,
Dave.
in the indictment,
I'm
that
defending
they had no knowledge of the money where it was coming from. So don't be a
I'm
jackass.
defending Dave on that note, but the money dried up.
Pakman,
like he shouldn't even defend him on that. Like there are so many good questions and attacks. There are so many good lines of attack here. Dude, put me on a show. God, Piers, if I get on a show with Rubin or any of these motherfuckers,
You're being a
you are no real Pakman, which I'm quite good at. You know, there's a reason, Piers. There's a reason that everyone hates progressives, and the reason that everyone hates progressives, it's not just that they're wrong about all of the issues and they will lie and their only real goal is power. It's because they're also smug elitists. And Pakman, I did see online the other day you were crying because your audience is purging you and you're running out of subscribers and you're in a doom loop. And the reason is no one gives Piers, pardon me, a shit about this woke bullshit anymore. We've had it, and now you guys can sit back and be quiet. You want to talk about people being paid for their ideas?
Just let me address this.
It's you people who have had the entire cultural machine for 20 years. You've had all of entertainment. You have had all of Hollywood. You have had all of music. You've had all your P. Diddy parties and Epstein and everything else. And now enough of us have had it. So crawl back into your little irrelevant cave. It's time, bro.
Can I address any of that, Piers? Is that allowed?
Sure.
Okay. It is.
Okay, wait. We'll move on to this after. Hold on. Somebody found the original something? Okay, hold on.
These people
They've been indicted, Rubin. The tenant media people were indicted.
I got indicted.
Wait, I don't know why I was like this part. Hold on, wait. This one? November 15th?
Start with you, but before all
most no trans people are in competitive sports, and people.
Wait, am I being linked the right thing? Or hold on.
Asked you if you were sorry for being wrong.
Look at the underlying source, Piers. I have it printed out in the other room.
It wasn't a
Look
footnote.
at the
It's page
underlying
5.
source.
It's page
Now,
5.
I do want to say one thing about this.
Oh, they just
I
edited
actually
it with the
agree
footnote.
with a lot of what Brianna and what Dave Rubin said. I actually agree with I don't.
Oh, okay. I don't like David's statement there, though. Saying it's just a footnote, that doesn't, a footnote is just a source. That doesn't, you're not really saying anything when you say it's just a footnote. Like, so I don't know, whatever. Okay.
It is absolutely true that in the 48 hours after the election, a lot of very upset leftists started pulling back from political content. I was hit by it.
No, not from
Brian
political content, from your political content.
I have to be able to
lying
talk
to them about everything.
I have to be able to talk. I have to be able to get a word in. Unless you just want Dave Rubin to talk. Let me know, Piers.
I love hearing Dave Rubin talk.
I would prefer that.
Thank you,
Okay.
Piers.
No, if there's no rebuttal allowed, then I won't rebut.
You probably.
It sounds like, hold on. Are you being autistic? Have you never heard footnote in history? Why would you use an expression when you're talking about a thing that has like an actual particular meaning in that context? Wait, what? Like, imagine you get lost at a carnival and you're with some friends and you and your girlfriend start fighting and somebody calls you and they're like, "Hey, where are you at?" And you're like, I'm fighting with Jane at the moment. I'm on a fucking merry-go-round right now." And then they go to the merry-go-round to find you, and then they call you again, like, "Hey, where the fuck are you?" You're like, "Oh, we're at the entrance." You're like, "Wait, I thought you said you were on the merry-go-round." Like, "No, you dipshit. It's a common expression. I'm on a merry-go-round. We're going round and round. We're not like making any progress on this argument." Why would you use that expression right there? Like, tell me about this report on my trial. Oh, that was just a footnote. Like, what do you mean? The footnote, like it was a good annotation or what? It's like, oh, no, like I meant like it was irrelevant. Why would you say footnote is irrelevant? No. So what I'm trying to say is you're retarded and fuck you. Shut the fuck up.
We've done most of the talking so far, so why don't you do a bit more talking?
I'll say this and then I'll be quiet the rest of the show.
Because Brian hasn't said anything for ages. I want to bring him in.
The theme, I want Brian to win. That completely reversed. I do think that it must be that Dave is upset that Brian and I have surpassed him in viewership and subscribers. Because if you just look at the numbers, it lasted 48 hours. They all came back.
I don't even know who this other guy is.
Well, look, if it's going to come to that, I'm the biggest rocket in the room, right? I mean, it's like as Trump said to Kim Jong-un, "You got your little..."
Footnote sounds like insignificant detail in the context, and Piers didn't think it's... Well, but yeah, it's not... But it's not like a foot... If you're trying to say... Hold on, I'm sorry. Hold on, wait. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm understanding you better. But if I'm understanding you better, then that means I need to be... That means that Pakman's statement is very stupid. If you're saying that Pakman was saying, "Oh, it's just a footnote," as though it was insignificant, that's not true. This is not an insignificant statement, if true, and if it means what they want it to mean, that over 600 female athletes in more than 400 competitions have lost more than like 890 medals in 29 different sports. That doesn't feel like an insignificant or a footnote to me, especially in my mind. When I hear that, I think Olympic and college level stuff. I didn't know this includes fucking high school shit, right? So no, that would be even dumber if that's the case. But also, it could be that Pakman wasn't able to find the sources on this because I don't even know how they did this. Like, the sources are not here. You have to actually click this. It's an embedded link to this website I don't believe it's found in either of these two sources when you actually go to the website and look it up. You have to actually left click this to go to the site that's not listed here, which is really weird. But okay, sorry. Jesus, stop.
Racket, I got my big racket. So let's not get into the size of each other's YouTube rockets.
But that's the smug nonsense. Nobody cares about that.
It's the fact
that I honestly have no idea what your
Let me bring in Brian.
Let me bring in Brian. Your views are, but I couldn't care less. I know your ideas are terrible. Like, I don't care what your views are. Who cares?
Let me bring in Brian. Brian, on a wider point about this whole issue of wokeism. You know, Elon Musk was big on this for the entire presidential campaign, saying that there's a woke mind virus and it's going to get rejected. It has inarguably been rejected. And I do think we have reached a tipping point now where people have just felt that the left has gone so far bonkers. Look at Bill Maher. Bill Maher's politically where I am, pretty much. And he shares my view completely. The liberals basically have gone nuts. They've taken these extreme positions on stuff that most Americans, and in fact it's the same in the UK, but most Americans just feel no connection with whatsoever. As people like Axelrod, Joe Scarborough, Bill Clinton, others, as they all come forward and say this out loud, do you kind of agree with them? I mean, do you accept there's got to be a lot of...
Destiny knows that he knows he's not worth X amount of money, so therefore he knew and is guilty. Isn't an actual argument, though. Not only is that an actual argument, you can convict people in court over stuff like that. Yes, you absolutely could. If I have a friend who comes up to me and he stuffs a whole bunch of drugs in my trunk and he doesn't tell me exactly, he just gives me like a suitcase and he puts it in the back and he says, "Hey, man, I'll give you $20 for gas. Can you like take this across town for me?" And you're like, "Yeah, sure, that's fine," or whatever. And you drive across town, whatever. If I'm in court or a DA is thinking of charging me, if my friend gave me $5,000 to drive that and he's like, "Hey man, drive safe. You got something in the back. go ahead and drop it up to somebody. Let me pay you $5,000 for this. You better fucking believe that that's going to go to state of mind. Why the fuck is your friend giving you $5,000 for gas money to drive something across the city, right? Of course that stuff can be used to show state of mind. You're out of your fucking mind. You're delusional if you think that's not the case. If somebody's offering you a massive sum of money to do a particular thing, and you have your expertise in the area, you know that something is off there. Of course it is. This little bullshit fucking chat, dipshit, retarded bullshit that you would use on Twitter. Oh, how could they have fucking know, blah, blah, blah. That shit dies in court immediately. Nobody actually believes, you don't even believe the retarded fucking shit that you just said there. Oh, so just because somebody paid you 100x your market value, you're supposed to know that the source of the funds are illegitimate or something? No, fuck off, you fucking moron. Every single human being knows this intuitively. Jesus.
Inward looking by the Democrats here to say, we've gone too far here.
Piers, here's why this is not going to go away. It's because it's not that Republicans are descending into some woke pit of the depths of hell. It is that everybody else will accept Republican framing on wokeism. And so, look, I think I'm a pretty good indicator of where the mainstream of the Democratic Party is. Do you know how many times I've spoken about trans issues on my shows because they were the #1 issue of the day? Literally never. Literally never. But if you watch Fox News, if you watch all of the ads that happened in this election cycle, you would think that it was all Democrats could think of from the second they woke up in the morning until the second they went to bed at night. It was, how can we get more people surgeries, gender reassignment surgeries? Let's get just trans, sports, like the whole thing. It is not what Democrats are talking about, but it's what Republicans exploit in terms of convincing
I don't agree.
Good job. Yes. Good job, Brian. That is true. Yes. Now you need to take it one step further and accuse Piers of doing it.
Hang on, don't all shout, please. Hang on that one point.
It's so difficult to finish.
Brian, on that one point, all I would say is this. Both Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have signed up to trans athletes being allowed to compete on women's sport. So it's not a right-wing propaganda campaign to try and tell people that's what's happening. It is official government policy.
Did Kamala Harris say
I don't know if there's like a... I hate that I'm explaining this because everybody knows this intuitively, okay? I hate that I'm explaining this because I wish there was a way to talk about magnitude like in a very snappy, quick sense, because people are very good at using magnitude to like pretend that a thing is more important than it is. I'm gonna do what I think in my mind, but be aware that I could be wrong on this. Okay, I'm not a formal nutritionist or dietitian, right? But if I had to imagine, okay, if somebody asked me, what do you think contributes to like the overall health of a human being physically? Okay, the overall health of a human being. I'm probably going to think of things like I might say that like your genetics are going to probably play a decent-ish amount. I don't know, I'll put it right here, okay? I'm probably going to say things like your like the food that you eat, okay? I'll just have diet, like broadly speaking, I'll say like right here. Actually, I will make this bigger probably. I might say things like physical activity. You can call it working out, exercise, staying on your feet, whatever. I probably make this like fairly big right here. And then maybe I'll, what else? I should label these, right? I probably have getting enough sleep is a really big one, like right here. And then we can call this, I don't know, miscellaneous shit. I don't know. Maybe I would reapportion these a little bit. But the issue you have, this is a huge thing with RFK, okay, is people will correctly identify like a thing and say that it's a problem, but it's like a subset of a subset of a subset of a thing. So when you look at the overall health of Americans, and some guy wants to talk to you about like red dye 27, like the food that you eat, especially like of all the foods that you eat, let's see how much we can trigger chat. Let's say that this, we're going to call green diet, okay? We're going to call green diet. Of what makes you healthy for the food that you eat, I'm going to like section off this much here, and I'm just going to call this like fucking, like this, like all of this, I would just call this macros, and I'll include calories and macros, right? Are you a fat fuck? Do you roughly get about as much protein, carbs, or fat as you need to survive, right? That's probably, honest to God, like 70% of your physical health that comes from your diet, okay? If you want, you can also get into things like toxins or micronutrients are important, especially if you have a deficit in something, right? But as long as you're like this is probably like the majority of it, okay? But also, there are going to be things up here that also matter. Like, there could be toxic additives to your food. Maybe you're eating too much fish, it has mercury or whatever. They do affect you, right? It's not good. Maybe your food has too much of a particular chemical, then in high amounts, it's going to be like toxic over long periods of time or might increase whatever, right? Sure, that's fine. But people like RFK will take these micro categories and they'll talk about, it's like explaining the totality of American health problems. Like, if you were to implement every single thing that RFK talks about in terms of like cutting down on certain like bromelite, formaldehyde, whatever the fuck the random shit, if you were to take all of those things and implement every single one, that would, in my total uneducated estimation, okay, that would probably save you 1/100th of the health-saving effects of like a sugar tax. Like, if you were to tell people, oh, hey, by the way, ultra-processed foods and sugars, they're going to have a 100% tax on them. Get fucked. That one thing alone where people are like, oh, shit, well, time to eat less of that and time to eat food that's more satiating. That would probably save you 100 times more than this bullshit. But then the issue is when you fight against these people, you'll go out and you'll fight against the people like the RFKs, and they'll say, well, actually, this is a toxic thing. And then they'll like show you a stat. I tried to look this up last night because I was talking to a friend about this last night. And RFK said something about something, and I Googled it to try to find, okay, well, what the fuck are we, what is this, like, what, this guy referenced a study. What are we talking about? And I found an article in like NBC, and it was like January of this year, and the researcher guy was saying that it might be the case that in high enough amounts, this thing could be carcinogenic. And it's like, if you want to reduce like chance of cancer, fucking eat less red meat, right? That's like a thing that I'm pretty sure has been extensively studied by this point. And people know, I think there's a very high like correlation between like, I think it's all-cause mortality and cancer rates for red meat. You don't even, and that's it. Like, that's like, I think, I'm pretty sure for red meat. That's just like a thing that, yeah, I don't know. The hyperfixation on these like points where they're not necessarily wrong, but they have the magnitude completely off. And that drives me crazy because they present these like micro issues that are still issues. They are important. And if there's bad things in our foods, we should get rid of them. I agree. But to pretend like this is going to solve the autism and ADHD and obesity crisis, like, get the fuck out of here. Stupid. Okay, sorry. Jesus.
Did Kamala Harris say a word about trans people in this election cycle?
She has definitely spoken about it this year.
Yes.
This year,
yeah.
while she was running to be the president of the United States, which seems like an important distinction in terms of what we're talking about here.
She
mentioned the issue of trans.
Actually, I think she did at the town hall. You're right.
She did. Yeah. She talked about it on CNN during the town hall. Like, here's the problem with what you're saying is it's Democrats that advocated and mandate that women have to compete with men in sports. There was no Republican doing that, and you say like it didn't exist. Exactly. Now. You say that it's not happening where they're actually doing transitional surgeries to very young children. It's not Republicans that are doing that. Republicans are passing laws to protect kids under 18 from body mutilation. You say that it's the NCAA that's not allowing athletes or the Olympic committee in boxing at the Olympics. We all watched it, men beating the hell out of women. And then you say it's not an issue of the left. If it's not the left that's doing this, then who is it? Because it's not allowing athletes or the Olympic committee in boxing at the Olympics. We all watched it, men beating the hell out of women. And then you say it's not an issue of the left. If it's not the left that's doing this, then who is it? Because
didn't this girl come from like fucking Romania? Or was it Hungary? Where did this, what was it, Iman Khalif? Oh, Algeria? Is Algeria like a well-known, like ultra woke nation? Like, also, since when does the president set the standards for, when does the president of the United States set the fucking standards for Olympic boxing?
Because it sure as hell isn't the right. Yeah. And this is why I go back to the point.
Like, think about how crazy this is. Donald Trump is not responsible for his FBI, because the whole Twitter files thing happened under him, but that's not his fault. He's not in charge of that. He's not responsible for the BLM riots, because it's the country. He can't do anything. He's not responsible for the lockdowns, because he's just the president. What's he supposed to do? He's not responsible for his own departments rebelling against. He's not responsible for any of that. But Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are responsible for not only COVID and all the inflation that came from that, they're also responsible for what the international Olympic community does? What the fuck?
You lose elections when you lie to the American people to their face and you say, we're not doing this, when everybody sees you're doing it.
Well, let me again bring in Brianna, because you are, hang on, let me bring in a trans woman, just who's put her hand up.
So this is my whole problem with all of this, Piers, is, look, respectfully, the liberal shows here, you're right, you don't talk about trans issues. You don't invite people like me on. We don't have a say in our own party. And what has happened? This fringe, progressive, nutjob part of our party has hijacked my movement as well as we've hijacked so many other movements. Look at
online and in schools, but not in the main, nobody in the center or left, like people just don't broadly support this shit. It's just Piers and people amplifying the fuck out of it, and conservatives.
Black people. Do you think black people want their local police department burned down and like defund the police?
No, but that's why a lot of people walk back from defund police. The Democratic Party was incredibly responsive to that. They literally said that shit like defund was cancer or toxic. They did not literally, but there was at least one politician whose phone calls got leaked, or at least the transcripts, where she was saying this is toxic to our voter base. The defund the police shit was not good for us. It's why Biden and Harris, when Biden was running, was saying things like, "Yeah, we don't support this or whatever." Why I don't think Harris. I think Harris might have explicitly said she didn't support the defund stuff on the campaign trail. I think I remember her saying that, but.
Of course they don't. Do you think most women want to shout their abortions? Of course they don't. Trans people are just the latest victim. And the problem is, don't. Do you think most women want to shout their abortions?
Most women want to shout out their abortions or shop their abortions? What's she saying?
Of course they don't. Trans people are just the latest victim. And the problem is the left. Like, respectfully, trans people don't have a voice on the left. So you're listening to this non-binary, communist, Hamas-supporting fringe. And they're the ones talking to Kamala and saying, like, look, unless you stand with, like, vaginoplasty in prison, you're a transphobe. So, of course, the entire party is going along with that. The problem is then it gives Ben and his ilk this ammunition. So they're the only ones talking to America about these issues. You heard him say a bunch of stuff here that's just not true.
Okay.
And we have to deal with this.
What did I say is not true? Hold on. What did I say that was not true? Because there's nothing that I just said there.
The woman that was in boxing, we're not sure yet. I personally believe she's intersex, but that is a different issue than calling her.
Why would you even? Why would she even grant that? You personally believe she's intersex? Why even say that? There's no evidence yet. We have no evidence one way or the other. Nothing. Nothing has been posted that I'm aware of, unless something has changed in the past couple weeks that I haven't seen. Nothing's been posted yet to say that they're intersex or not. Well, like we have no reason to.
Well, actually, that's not right. No, Brianna, hang on.
Please, if I'm wrong, let
the
me
latest
know.
report. The latest report is that. Hang on, I can answer that. The latest report that came out of France, an investigation that came out of France last week, is that Iman Khalif, who won the gold medal.
Okay, last week. Maybe there's something new on this that I'm not aware of.
Who fought an opponent who quit after 40 seconds because she'd never been hit that hard. That Iman Khalif has the male chromosomes, and that's why she was banned from the World Championships along with one other fighter.
No.
And there's been
Okay. So was this a unique investigation by the French, or was this just a restatement of the IBA, the Russian league saying this thing? But they can't say that because they said they explicitly didn't test chromosomes. Hold on, France. Oh, I hate this. France. Iman Khalif, boxer, chromosomes. Okay, leaked medical report from 10 days ago. Algerian boxer Iman Khalif, who won gold in the women's 66 kg category at the Paris Olympic 2024, faces controversy after a leaked medical report confirms she is biologically male. The report cites internal testicles and XY chromosomes, hinting at 5-alpha reductase insufficiency. Khalif was previously banned by the International Boxing Association, and the issue has sparked debate on gender policies in sports. What is the leaked media report from? Or the leaked medical report from? Because if the thing is that when the IBA did their public statement, IBA public statement test chromosomes, because when they released their statement, I think they this isn't the website. I'm trying to remember what the website was. They explicitly said that they didn't test for chromosomes. So was there a different test that somebody else did, or? The lab results of each athlete depicts. Okay, hold on. When was this posted? This is August 3rd. Oh, this is the leak. Okay, hold on. Wait, can somebody link me to the original IBA? Oh, wait, we did notes on this story. Hold on. Okay, Control T and then Control P. No, Control O. Open. Wait, what am I thinking? IBA? Boxing, Olympic trans scandal. Okay. Okay. So then when the IBA made its original statement, they said that wait, oh my God, am I having a fucking hallucination here? Point to note: the athletes did not undergo a testosterone examination, but were subject to a separate and recognized test whereby the specifics remain confidential. This test conclusively indicates that both athletes did not meet the required. They didn't test for testosterone; they tested for something else. Did this say originally testosterone? Okay, maybe that was it. What is the leaked document? Hold on. The specifics remain confidential. Yeah, but why? But why would you discuss the? Why would you discuss like as much as they did if you weren't going to? If you weren't just going to say what the medical results were, I guess. This report was drafted in June of 2023 via collaboration between the Kremlin, Bilzerian or whatever hospital in Paris, France, and the Mohamed Lamine Debaglouf Hospital in Algiers, Algeria. Drafted by expert endocrinologist Sumoya Fedala and Jax Young, the report reveals that Khalif is impacted by 5-alpha reductase deficiency, a disorder of sexual development that is only found in biological males. The genetic abnormality influences the normal development of a child's sexual organs at birth. Male babies impacted by 5-alpha are often incorrectly assigned female due to the presence of deformed genitalia, sometimes take on the appearance of a blind vaginal pouch. Sort of development typically becomes apparent by puberty when 5-alpha neurons begin to show signs of masculinity. Okay. So in this report, okay, in an August statement, everyone said that he had personally viewed the results of the hotly contested chromosomal tests ordered by the IBA. Okay, so they ordered chromosomal tests in 2022 and 2023. Okay. It was a special Olympics. Okay, which concluded the boxer's DNA was that of a male consisting of XY chromosomes. Okay, so then they didn't test the chromosomes, but they tested for a condition which should theoretically only show up in Bama Langley's original report publication. Oh, thanks. But they tested for a condition that that should only happen in XY chromosome people, I guess, is what it sounds like. Which doesn't necessarily make it illegitimate, because when you can test for things that are indications of other things, like you don't actually test for pregnancy, you test for like hormones your body produces that means you're pregnant. So like these can be strong indicators of things, but also I don't know if some other things can cause it or not. I have no idea. Dr. Young has said that it's bullshit. I don't know who Dr. Young is. Why do they take so long to release this if this is the case? Also, I mean, there could be reasons why, though. I'm just curious why. Okay, array comparative genomic hybridization analyses show that she carries the 46XY karyotype and confirms the male formula without highlighting a significant genomic imbalance. The hormonal exploration reveals a male type testosterone level of 14.7, while the female gender does not exceed the maximum level of 3. Okay, wait, so that is a testosterone test. So then that does contradict what the IBA said, who said they didn't test for testosterone. But this could have been a separate test, genomic, sorry. This could have been a separate test that they ordered. Array comparative genomic hybridization is a technique that analyzes DNA to identify genomic copy number variations across the genome. Okay. All right. That might have been the case that recently then they have released evidence that she is, if these tests are true, or if it's, I haven't followed any of the news on this, but that's the, so this is your, I guess your recent update for this as of 2 weeks ago. Okay. So it is possible that we finally have evidence now that she is trans. Possibly. Okay. Back to our, we've done 30 minutes of trans stuff based.
has the male chromosomes, and that's why she was banned from the World Championships along with one other fighter. And there's been no actual proof that she doesn't have male chromosomes. So for all intents and purposes, I'm afraid it looks like she is a biological male, albeit not a full biological male. In other words, my understanding from that investigation is that she has male sexual reproductive organs, but not completely.
It's a dude.
But what it does do, it gives her the advantage of male biology, which means that she won the gold medal. But I want to segue out of this.
I don't support trans women in women's sports. Just to be clear, we didn't transition.
Can I try something real?
Most of us are under socialized computer.
You know what? Here's the thing. If I'm a liberal, Brianna, and I've spent the last 4 years trying to tell my liberal mates, get off this bullshit about trans athletes destroying women's sport, it may be this election.
Yeah, but this also doesn't even have anything to. Yeah, fuck. That's true. Actually, I shouldn't have. I shouldn't even buy into this mode of argumentation, because the claim is that, well, the hard claim is that men identify as women so they can win in sports. The softer claim is trans people are showing up, and then they have unfair advantages, which should be recognized. There's a soft claim, but this wouldn't even really qualify as that, right? What it would be is a person potentially was born intersex, it was unaware of it because whatever fucking this bullshit is, aren't 5 alpha reductase deficiency people might be born and even identified as female. Phenotypically, they present as female, and they just didn't know until either in puberty or later, is possibly, but I don't know. We need more information. But so even if everything asserted so far is true, this doesn't even necessarily have to do with trans people or anything with trans people. Like it doesn't necessarily even implicate or incorporate any of those arguments. If you want to know about the 5-alkylase reduction deficiency, fuck that, bro. I'm not here after a fucking medical degree. This activity reviews 5-alpha reductase deficiency, an important case or cause of ambiguous genitalia in children. Initially, the phenotype of children with 5-alkylase vary from underdeveloped male genitalia to fully developed female genitalia. This phenotype may change during puberty, at which point male secondary sex characteristics may develop. This activity will assist practice. My guess is probably pretty rare as well. You might guess. Ambiguous genitalia is a very rare problem encountered in newborns with the prevalence of 1 in 4,500 live births. Jesus. Okay.
Results should serve as a reminder to people, get off this thing, because people don't want to hear it.
The only time that I've heard this issue...
Let me give Brian the final word on this, Brian.
Yes. The only time that I have heard or debated this issue is literally with you and other people who accept right-wing framing on this issue. So the only people who are continuing to perpetuate this as an issue, it is right-wing framing.
I'm not right-wing.
We're not talking about it. Again, the only time I hear that, you can watch MSNBC, you can watch communist, Marxist, MSNBC all day long. You will not hear this issue. The only reason that it's put into the zeitgeist is
really not true.
Let me bring in Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin
every day on my show. They talk about this stuff.
You just proved his point, you fucking retard. Oh my god.
Let's try it this way with a simple yes or no answer. Let's try a simple yes or no question to Pakman and the guy in the hoodie.
Right there.
Let's try it this way.
Right there on my phone. MSNBC. There's LGBTQ in breaking news right now on MSNBC. Like, I love calling out the BS. It's right there.
But it's about a Republican talking about it. I'm guessing. Is that, well, maybe it's not. Hold on. Is that Representative Mooten? Oh, okay. It is a Democrat guy talking about it. Okay.
MSNBC in breaking news right now on MSNBC. Like, I love calling out the BS. It's right.
It's not technically breaking news right now. This is 2 days ago, and that is 3 days ago. And he literally searched for MSNBC transgender. So I don't know if this was front page on MSNBC or not, but okay.
There, MSNBC on my phone.
Dude, I don't know what that is.
Dave Rubin.
Oh my God.
Dave Rubin.
Yeah, here, I'll try this very simply for our progressive friends here, for Pakman and the hoodie guy. If you guys I don't know if you guys have kids, but if you have 14...
I wonder what that article was even about. Representative... I want to say Mr. Mooten. It's not him. Hold on. Molten Trans News. It was an MSNBC article, right? MSNBC. 5 days ago was this. And before the comments are actually him saying, guys, we should talk about this less. How unbelievably ironic would it be if you were this politician, you're like, guys, we need to stop talking about these issues. And then your comments about how you need to stop talking about these issues are being cited by conservatives for people talking about these issues too much. Hold on.
Using Henry meds for weight management medication.
Okay.
Joining me right now, we have Democratic Congressman from Massachusetts, Seth Moulton. He previously ran for president in the 2020 Democratic primary. It's good to welcome you back to the broadcast, and we're going to get going into this. After Trump's victory on Tuesday, Democrats are certainly grappling with the way forward. And after the people saying they spend way too much time trying not to offend anyone rather than being brutally honest about the challenges many Americans face. Then as part of...
Oh, Mr. Mouton said, I have 2 little girls. I don't want them getting run over on a playing field by a male or formerly male athlete.
That argument, you told the New York Times by a that. I know that you have put out a follow-up statement. I do want to give you a chance to explain your comments because you know they've...
Oh, thank you, Alex, very much. And look, I was just speaking authentically as a dad about one of many issues where I think we're just out of touch with the majority of voters. And I stand by my position. You know, maybe I didn't get all the words exactly right. But the point is that the backlash I've received proves my point that we can't even have these discussions as a party. I mean, the chairman of the Massachusetts Democratic Party wouldn't even return my phone call. And we've got to be able to have these debates. But instead, we have a wing of our party that shames us, that tries to cancel people who even...
This is true. What he's talking about here is this is stupid.
And bring up these difficult topics. And frankly, shames voters. This is the same group of people who told us to defund the police, who told us that there wasn't a problem at the southern border, who told us that inflation was transient, whatever that means, and who told us that...
Does he not know what that means?
Biden was just fine. And they're out of touch with voters. If we just listen to voters on all of these issues, they were telling us the truth. So we've got to be willing to have these debates. I'm willing to have my mind changed. In fact, I've had some really good conversations in just the last few days with LGBTQ advocates and others, some of whom agree with me, others who don't, but are willing to engage in a thoughtful discussion rather than just trying to cancel one person or another. But we've got to have these debates.
Okay, so it sounds like this would even be a conversation that probably every single person on this panel would agree with, but okay.
18-year-old girl and she was a wrestler, would you be okay? Yes or no? No other words. Yes or no? Would you be okay with her wrestling a 14-year-old boy?
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I wrestled for a decade and men and women wrestle together. That's how it works.
Is Brian in my chat right now? Is that true? I went to an all-boys school, so I can't speak on that. I don't remember our high school boys ever competing against any high school girls. Do they compete together, or... In my school, yes. Okay, maybe in high school they do then. Okay, I wouldn't know because my high school was all boys. So
please stop advocating this. It hurts me. It hurts.
That's how it works. I wrestled for a decade. There's no distinction between men and women.
You have a progressive warrior fighting for you.
I've actually got I have a better question. I have a better question. I have a better question, Brian.
Frankly, I have a better question.
If Floyd Mayweather says, I'm now identifying as a woman, and wants to fight against a female biological actual woman, Brian, would you be happy with that?
No, of course not.
So you agree?
Yes, but we're having two different... Piers, we're having two different conversations. I'm saying that the reason the vast majority of Americans think that this was the #1 issue in this election cycle is because a well-funded right-wing media ecosystem continues to thrust it into the zeitgeist as if this is what Democrats care about. As if this is what Democrats...
Bro, the liberals are getting fucking cut off so much. Holy shit, this is a shit show. Destiny, yes. I wrestled in high school over 10 years ago, and yes, they do mix at times, especially the girls that were really good. Okay.
What you're talking about.
Yeah. What a second Trump presidency would mean for trans people like me. Headline MSNBC as we speak. But MSNBC never talks about trans issues at all. Yeah, there it is.
Let me go to Dave Rubin and change subject. Dave Rubin, I want to play you a clip. Hang on. Let's change subject. We've done the trans debate. Hang on.
I have a phone too, and it has MSNBC on it. Yes. Democrats would get nothing for throwing trans Americans under the bus. Where did we get this thing? This is incredible.
You guys can think it's like some gotcha to that MS acknowledges
I'm changing the subject.
That MS acknowledges the existence of trans people.
I'm changing the subject.
Again, that doesn't mean that this election cycle was some referendum on trans Americans.
I'm changing the subject. We're running out of time. I want to discuss other things, all right?
When you lost.
I want to play a clip of Donald Trump at the White House today. He's just met Joe Biden, and this is what happened.
Politics is tough, and it's in many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate it very much. A transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate that, Jim.
You're welcome. Now, Dave, I've got to say, kudos to Joe Biden for doing that. Would it not have been better for America if Donald Trump had done that himself 4 years ago? Serious question.
Oh my God. A hard question because Donald Trump didn't even attend the inauguration. How are they going to weasel out of this? Are they actually going to answer this honestly? Oh my goodness. Let's see. Are they actually going to honestly engage with this? Here we go.
Doing that. Would it not have been better for America if Donald Trump had done that himself 4 years ago?
Yes.
Serious question.
That's an easy yes.
Yeah, I think you can make that argument.
I think you can make that argument.
But I think we're long past that argument. I would rather focus on what Joe Biden, I think, did right there, and what we now have in a very interesting, 2+ months of the remainder of the Biden administration, where basically Biden, or whatever's left of Biden, or whoever's driving Biden, no longer has to placate to the completely lunatic progressive fringe anymore. And Biden actually could take advantage of some of the reordering that we feel throughout the world right now, not just in America, but quite literally across the globe. And he can actually pave the way for a really nice transition into a Trump presidency that I believe is going to reignite the American dream and bring back an 80s style revolution in America. I think we're going to have a burst throughout the economy. I think it's going to be cultural. I think we're going to get new music and new art and new creativity and new businesses on the forefront of AI and all of these things. And Biden he has 2 months now where he could be like, you know what, we're going to get our 5 or 6 American hostages who are somewhere under Gaza back. We can do that. Like there's a real win for Biden to end up with here.
Okay, wait, am I just crazy? Is wrestling, I'm going to say wrestling is very technique based, right? It is wrestling is one of those sports where weight classes matter, but the technique is incredibly important as well. Where you could even take out somebody of significantly more weight. All grappling is like that. Where even people that are significantly heavier, technique is important. But I wouldn't have imagined that an 18-year-old girl could beat an 18-year-old boy, assuming even in the same weight class. Audrey Jimenez, not only the first ever to appeal to compete against boys in the state title, but was crowned champion. So is this just a girl just won state championship because she in this particular weight class? Crazy. I wonder on that She Won website, I wonder how many of these were what the fuck was this? I wonder how many of these things are wrestling. It looked like that was a bicycle. Okay, nothing. Not a single thing was about wrestling? That's kind of weird. Huh, okay, well. There are no trans wrestlers? Oh, search for anything. Non-athletic competitions. Jeopardy game show. Damn. Okay. How many dudes? Yeah, I wonder if it's just being in the super, super small weight class. I wonder if you have genetic or phenotypic abnormalities for the men that are wrestling at this weight class, maybe. Maybe? I don't know. Okay, sorry.
Rather than, you ended up with dementia and then ushered in quite literally the worst candidate in American history and placated to the radical left for 4 years when you were sold to us as old, moderate Joe. So Biden, and again, we don't know if Biden's running the show or it's Jill or whoever, but I think there's a real opportunity for him right now to do the right thing and usher in a
never mind.
Really strong 4 years for Donald Trump.
Okay, and David Pakman, the appointments that...
Are we talking about wrestling? No, Brian, not now. We looked up, we validated what you said is true, okay? So good job, you got it.
Trump has put forward so far, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy will run a new Department of Government Efficiency. I mean, having the most successful, richest, and possibly smartest guy on the planet getting stuck into government bureaucracy, I would have thought that's very popular, isn't it?
Also, as everybody's pointed out, and I will continue to point out, the hilarity that a government efficiency thing is going to be headed by 2 different people is pretty funny.
Yeah, it's so funny. A Department for Government Efficiency, new department when Trump wants to eliminate departments, and instead of being run by 1 person, it's being run by 2.
Although to be fair, I don't think the president of the United States can create departments. I think it's just like a meme department. He can create a committee or a council, and these guys will head it and then do that for some months and then probably disband. I don't believe the president of the United States has the power to create departments or offices. I think those have to be created. We're going to do, after we get through all the Federalist Papers, we're going to read the Constitution as well. I think that, I don't even know what fucking clause it is. Article 2, Section 2, Clause 2. Creation of federal offices. Yeah, I think this is exclusively for Congress. Okay. Stop, not you.
According to Musk, they are going to eliminate dozens of departments, though. So by the end of the process,
he's going to get rid of 300 departments.
They're going to get rid of a lot of departments, David Pakman. So I mean, that seems to me to be a good thing, doesn't it? Or do you think that they should be?
Listen. In his first term, it was not exactly promises made, promises kept. I'm going to reserve judgment to see what happens. And the reason why, and Dave, honestly, I know we're not getting along here. I do like you. I wish we were still friends. I'd love to get our kids together to play soon. Dave Rubin making predictions is crazy because his predictions always go wrong. Red wave for Republicans in 2018 didn't happen. 30% black vote for Trump in 2020 didn't happen. Republicans get 54 Senate seats in 2022. I've got a list of 30 Rubin predictions. They're always wrong. So I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to
see why you're looking for new friends, Pakman.
I love how Rubin is able to just like sneak by every single thing, like with some snarky, stupid comment. Are you going to put all the Federalist paper research into a YouTube video? No, it's literally just me reading them and explaining them. That's it. It's not. Why would I? There's no video to be made about that. Okay.
No, I think Piers can attest to this. Being in the business we're in, you're going to get election predictions wrong. I have no problem admitting that. I get election predictions wrong all the time. But when it comes to getting the ideas right, I think I've had a pretty damn good track record on that. And again, you're just illustrating why nobody likes progressives. Your smug, holier-than-thou attitude, it's just disgusting to most people. You think you're the savior for people that want nothing to do with you. And frankly, for all the David Pakman subscribers that want to watch a show that actually is informative and funny and interesting and, dare I say, irreverent, I would tune into the Rubin Report.
Well, they're probably all watching on Central at the moment. Let me bring in Brian. I mean, Brian, I thought it was very interesting, this meeting between Trump and Biden. They obviously can't stand each other. They've abused each other all year. But Biden did show him the respect of bringing him to the White House and shaking hands, and they talked about a smooth transition and stuff. I mean, that is good, isn't it? After the mayhem we saw 4 years ago. I mean, I like to see that. What I would hope is that Trump, in his inauguration speech, hits a much more unifying tone than he did in 2016.
Right. I mean, I guess we're 8 years into new tone for Trump. It's never going to happen. He is not that person. Biden afforded him every ounce of respect that he couldn't be bothered to show, and that he couldn't be bothered to show Joe Biden or any Democrat over the last 4 years, while he lied about some big lie, and all these right-wing mouthpieces perpetuated this lie with zero evidence, and they all just claimed that because Donald Trump was too small to admit that he lost, they all claimed that there must be some fraud, which magically disappeared as soon as 2024 rolled around. Right, so there was mass cheating that the Democrats figured out how to do when they didn't control government. But then when Democrats do control government, we just forgot to cheat this time around?
Yes. How were we able to cheat? Notice how it's like whenever there's a Republican president, the deep state is the strongest. Why do we even bother running for president when we can control the government when it's a Republican president? Because remember, when the Republicans are in control, the deep state censors Twitter, the deep state invents and creates Russiagate, the deep state saves Hillary Clinton. And then when a Democrat is in control, what is the deep state doing? Convictions for Hunter Biden, tossing all of the Donald Trump federal cases, literally saving every part of and then also remember the deep state did January 6th as well when Trump was in control. Why do we even control the presidency? If the deep state controls everything when there's a Republican in office, we should just let them win every time. What the fuck is the point?
The fact is that there is no acknowledgement from the right that for the last 4 years,
what was the great tweet that I read? Was this a Brian Tyler Cohen? I don't think so. This was a Josiah coded tweet. It was something like, don't worry about, or what was it? It was like the Matt Gaetz pick for Attorney General might seem scary, but there is a world where Donald Trump chooses literally the most favorable, most sycophantic ally to be Attorney General, but thankfully, he's not going to keep Merrick Garland in place. It was like some tweet like that, and I was like...
Got to cheat this time around? The fact is that there is no acknowledgement from the right that for the last 4 years, these Republican officials that are listening to Donald Trump, these Republican mouthpieces like the ones on this panel, all lied because it served their political interest, but now they won't acknowledge that he was lying once it doesn't serve their political interest.
All right, Ben, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, let's go back to the question you asked. Is it good for America to see these two men shaking hands and talking? Yes.
True. Let's ignore everything that's just said and just have a little good circle jerk moment. Nice.
I actually think it's probably because Joe Biden experienced what Donald Trump experienced for 4 years, and that was people coming after you, trying to undermine you, and having a coup on you. And when the Big Five of the Democratic Party excommunicated Joe Biden and said, we're going to force you out, I think he was probably the happiest man in America the night that Kamala Harris lost.
I think Nick blocked you. Who? Oh, Nick Merckx? Oh, he did. Good. Fuck him. Fucking retard.
Because it was revenge for them kicking him out. So I think there is a different Joe Biden sitting with a different Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump is different now than he was in 2016. Because Joe Biden experienced what Donald Trump experienced for 4 years, and that was people coming after you, trying to undermine you, and having a coup on you. And when the Big Five of the Democratic Party excommunicated Joe Biden and said, we're going to force you out, I think he was probably the happiest man in America the night that Kamala Harris lost, because it was revenge for them kicking him out. So I think there is a different Joe Biden sitting.
Imagine how much this says. The lens through which you view politics. Try to imagine what's going on in Biden's head right now. If I were to imagine, Biden is probably really happy that one guy came out and shit on trans people. I bet he's ecstatic about that. It's like, do you think he's thinking about that? That's your projection, right? I bet Biden was so happy when Kamala lost because he's like, yeah, fuck you, piece of shit. I bet you got what. You're talking about a guy that walked away from his incumbency, re-election, in order to like make room. Like this guy is spiteful against his country. Like they can't even imagine, because these people fucking hate the United States so much, right? They only care about the U.S. of T, the United States of Trump. It's the only thing they fucking care about, right? So yeah, like they fuck the USA, fuck anything having to do with the health of the country. All about party allegiance, all about candidate allegiance. So what happened when Kamala lost? Biden was probably happy because he hates Kamala. He must.
With a different Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump is different now than he was in 2016. And I think these two men have experienced...
How? In what way? Name one way. One way. How?
This level of persecution against them. And there probably is genuinely more respect now for the two of them than there has ever been in the last 8 years.
Hang on, Brian.
I've literally never heard such lazy commentary in my entire life.
Brian,
Joe Biden was the happiest person in the world.
Let me ask you a question. Excuse me. I run this panel at the moment. Ben, the question is, because
yeah, sorry. Hold on. No liberals, okay? To be fair, the liberals are outnumbering, what is it, like 4-1 on this panel? Obviously, Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen are far, far, far left extremists. You've got center left to far left Brianna Wu, and then you have Dave Rubin, remember, who says he's a liberal, center left, okay? So we have to make time for the conservatives to talk, okay? Because they are outnumbering the Republicans on the panel.
I put this forward on X and got a lot of blowback from MAGA Republicans. But I said, Trump really wanted to set a different tone for the second administration. What about pardoning Hunter Biden? Not because I think he's innocent of the crimes, but because it would go a long way, perhaps, to showing the left that Trump is a different person.
It doesn't go a long way. What? God, it's such a fucking loser talking point. I think Josiah and Pisco might disagree with me. I think that Joe Biden should pardon Hunter Biden just so that Trump can't even say he tried to do it. Just fuck it. Just fuck it. If Trump is going to pardon people that are directly being indicted on crimes relating to him, like Stone and Bannon, fuck that shit. This is ridiculous. The fact that Republicans would see that and think, wow, what a gracious, amazing president, that he would pardon the children of his political adversaries.
That he is prepared to forgive and move on. What do you think of that?
I think it's a terrible idea. I think you have to be held accountable for your actions. And I think
I can't say it. I'm on YouTube and I would get banned. I would get permanently banned and potentially indicted for the things that I wish I could say about this man right now.
The abuse of power by Hunter Biden, by Joe Biden's brother, and by the Biden crime family, and the money they were receiving from Ukraine.
And the Biden crime family. The Biden crime family. This guy, who is this guy again? Is he a sitting politician? What is this guy's role again?
And from Russia and from China.
Is Ted Cruz's sidekick on his podcast?
Is egregious. Now, let me also say...
Do you think it was uncomfortable when he was leaning forward to show the audience the pictures on his cell phone, when he had to sit back and the 8-inch Trump dildo goes all the way back up his asshole? Do you think it's like uncomfortable to go like in and out like that on stream? Or do you think he's had so much practice with it that it's just like it's like not even a thing for him?
I think the olive branch is, hey, I'm not going to weaponize the government to come after you. I'm going to let you go out into the sunset, but I'm not going to make it easy on you and do this pardon, which, by the way, if he did pardon him, I'm a realist. The two people in these boxes over here, I promise you, there's no way that would make them like Donald Trump. They would still hate him. They would still come after him. They would still say he's Hitler and we're all Nazis. And so I'm sorry, their elections have consequences. We kicked your ass. We're going to go in and do government.
Let me bring in Brianna.
And that's the way it's going to be.
Okay, let me bring in Brianna. Brianna, just on a big picture here.
Elections have consequences. Like, what an actual joke of a human being. Like, what an unbelievable statement. Like, if I was on this panel, and maybe these two will do it, like the shouted thing was like, hold on, did you win or lose 2020? Did you win or lose 2020? On 2020, did you win or lose the election? Because neither of these guys would admit that.
Brianna, as an American, Brianna, what would you like to hear Trump say on Inauguration Day?
I would like to see us find a way to move forward as a country. I've thought so much, Piers, about what I'm going to do differently this time around, because Resistance 2.0 is not what the country needs right now. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Democrat. I worked 16-hour days trying to get Kamala Harris elected. This election broke my heart. But at the same time, what is frustrating to me about this panel is I see my fellow Democrats and we're sliding into the same mistakes that brought us here. The American people do not care, respectfully, about your show viewer count. They don't care about this left versus right nonsense. They are looking for stuff that makes their lives better. So what I'm committed to doing is Trump has done some stuff I think is good.
Why does nobody remember? Why does nobody remember how fucking crazy, Dan brings this up and it's true, how fucking crazy this country was under Trump? Nobody remembers every single day the unhinged, insane fucking shit this guy would tweet. Nobody remembers the 35-day, the longest government shutdown. What was that? 3 paychecks for government workers in all U.S. history. Nobody remembers the daily insanity of this fucking guy. This is just like it's a synopsis for the entire Trump. Don't. I hate my life. This isn't even a big deal, I know, but like, bro.
I think he's taking a much harder stand on Israel. I like the people he's appointing to represent us.
Trump is taking a harder stance on Israel? Like getting them harder? What do you mean? What?
About this left versus right nonsense. They are looking for stuff that makes their lives better. So what I'm committed to doing is Trump has done some stuff I think is good. I think he's taking a much harder stand on Israel. I like the people.
Or does she mean, no, I've seen her tweets. She means supporting Israel. She does mean like making them harder.
Well, he's appointing to represent us and to bring our countries closer together after I think Biden and Kamala Harris have really spit in the Jewish community's face. And what I'm willing to do as an American, not as a Democrat. So
how did they spit in the Jewish community's face? Biden and Harris did?
He does stuff like that. I agree with. I will stand with him. And Ben, you're wrong. If Trump were to come forward tomorrow and say, for the good of the country, I am pardoning Hunter Biden because these charges are just out of proportion to the issue, that would mean a lot to me. But what I need for y'all to do is to
imagine how unbelievable it is. Where it's like Ford. I'm going to pardon Nixon, the guy who was accused of. I don't even know that. I need to look into the details of Watergate. What is he basically allowed the was it the FBI to break into the offices to get the tapes or whatever? I'm going to pardon that dude to heal the country and move forward. But Hunter Biden? You want to pardon a member of the Biden crime family? Are you serious? Was it not the FBI? Was it just was it party operatives? Do I have this on my list of things to read about? We should go through all of Watergate. I'll add it here.
Give some of that goodwill back. We are not going to move forward as a country. If everyone on this panel cannot stop hating each other,
it's not goodwill to let someone get away with abusing their power. That's not goodwill. When you abuse the power, you're
give me whose podcast? Get me on this show. God, I would love to go on this show. Whatever podcast this is, let's talk about abuse of power.
Well, I actually personally, I think Joe Biden, before he goes out of office, I think he should pardon Trump for the ridiculous Stormy Daniels case. I honestly do.
Wait, can I ask you a question?
It's a state case, bro. It's a federal office. The president of the United States can't dismiss state charges. It's okay.
Here, Piers, can I ask a question here? Ben, do you think that Donald Trump should go through with his sentencing then because everybody should be held accountable for their crimes?
I don't. No, I think the whole thing was a farce.
It was a farce. That was a farce, but you have nothing to say about the Biden crime family. How many more years do we need of searching for Hunter Biden's crimes before the worthless, subhuman, degenerate, fucking extra chromosome carrying dipshits in any of these Republican House committees give us actual impeachment charges or give us actual indictments against anybody with the last name Biden that has to do with Burisma or fucking whatever weird Hunter Biden, Joe Biden crime monopoly, whatever. I'm sure they're coming right after the Hillary Clinton emails and those indictments.
Do you think that
the whole Stormy Daniels case? I think Joe Biden should pardon him and end the whole thing now.
Do you think that Donald Trump should be allowed to be continued being prosecuted for in the Washington D.C. case or the classified documents case or the Georgia RICO prosecution? Since everybody has to be held
accountable. No, because I think it's very clear that it says you cannot go after a sitting president, and I think we all know
it's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you.
I just answered the question.
It's very clear that you can't go after a sitting president. First of all, I don't know if that's very clear. Okay, I know there were memos made that hasn't been legally tested, but
I said no. The first thing came out of my mouth was the word no, and then I explained why. You need to listen.
So you said everybody should be held accountable for their crimes, but not Trump.
The American people just held Donald Trump accountable, and they said they thought it was crap, and they reelected him.
That's not how it works.
Wait, so did they hold Donald Trump accountable for COVID and for the BLM riots and for the lockdowns? Did they hold him accountable in 2020 when he was voted out of office? Then does that logic extend or?
Pay attention. Yes, it is.
You said everybody should be held accountable for their crimes.
And that is exactly why they have said we're going to wind it all down.
Okay, listen, Dave Rubin has to leave in a couple of minutes. Dave, you talked about predictions for elections. It would be remiss of me not to point out that about 9 days before the election, I said this on Fox News. Look, my gut feeling, and I had this in 2016, and when I was saying it and writing it in 2016, people were laughing at me. But I kept saying, I'm getting a feeling that the Trump train is steaming to victory. I get that feeling again now. I've been in LA, I've been in New York. I'm getting a lot of people who did not vote Trump last time, but who are prepared this time. Even if they don't like him, they're prepared to vote for him this time to stop Kamala Harris becoming president. I'm going on my gut, and I'm feeling he could actually end up winning quite big. You know the moral of that story, Dave Rubin, is always trust a British gut, is the moral of that story.
Yeah, well, the moral of the story, I think, for the progressives is stop being so authoritarian and hysterical and better than everybody, because what you've done is you've taken all of the good liberals of America, of which there are many, and most of them are now Republicans or at least voting for.
God, I hate this guy with a fiery fucking passion. My God.
Republicans. And I would like to say to Brianna, who I've enjoyed watching a bit of her evolution here, is that what I think you're going to find over the next year or two is that consistently you are going to have some differences with people on the right, but they are going to welcome you. They are going to treat you with respect. They're going to agree to disagree, and you're going to have rich conversations and find an awful lot of agreement where you thought there would only be for the next voting for Republicans. And I would like to say to Brianna, who I've enjoyed watching a bit of her evolution here, is that what I think you're going to find over the next year or two is that consistently you are going to have some differences with people on the right, but they are going to welcome you. They are going to treat you with respect. They're going to agree to disagree, and you're going to have rich conversations and find an awful lot of agreement.
Remember when, where's the bad Goku meme or whatever? Where is it? Fuck. I can never spell his name right. Can you not use your stupid fucking, the zeros and the U's and the names? God, it's so fucking annoying. Is it bald Goku? Is it bad Goku? Elon got him? Oh, whatever. Fuck me. It was like one day. Less than one day. Dude, the replies in Rittenhouse's mentions when he said he was going to vote for not Trump, it was the most cultish shit in the fucking universe. It was some of the most cultish shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, yeah, there's room for disagreement. Yeah, as long as you are supporting Trump, you can say whatever the fuck you want. As long as you're on every single core point.
Agreement where you thought there would only be scorched earth. And on the other side of it, you're going to find exactly what you have found over the course of this panel. And I think very quickly that will change your party affiliation. But maybe I'm wrong, because I do get some predictions wrong. We'll see.
Well, thank you, Dave Rivers. Thank you. Sorry, who was that? Yeah, Brianna, last word to you. Last word to Brianna.
I hear what you're saying, Dave, and respectfully, trans rights are under attack like I've never seen in my entire life. And I transitioned over 20 years ago. So I will not be moving to the other side like you, but I'm always open for conversation. We got trans rights by policies right down the middle, and it's what this fringe left has completely thrown us under the bus on. So
yeah, and you know what, Brianna? I think it's such an important point. I absolutely, and have always wanted fairness and equality for all trans people of the same kind that I enjoy, but not to the point where it starts to erode women's rights. Exactly. And that's the crucial debate that has to be properly had.
Piers,
and that's the one Democrats have failed on.
Pierce, this whole thing changed 10 years ago. If I was writing a book on the history of trans rights and when it went wrong, it was on your show. 10 years ago, Janet Mock on CNN, you held an interview with her. We were not talking about trans stuff back then. Everyone in the community was thrilled about it. What did she do? She went on your program. She lectured you. She was beyond rude. She told you she was not interested in your opinion on anything. She just shut you down. It was this.
Well, worse than that, she said that I was very respectful to her. I gave her the platform of CNN Primetime Worldwide. And then because I said that she was born a boy and then transitioned to be a trans woman, she said that was transphobic and tried to basically destroy me. And right there was the start of this nonsense. Obviously, I wasn't being transphobic. Actually, I was being completely biologically, scientifically accurate. She was born a biological boy, and she transitioned and became a trans woman. And I have full respect for her for doing that. But don't then go after people who actually are allies. That's the irony.
This is, Piers, this is the problem. I'm saying this to you respectfully, but I've seen your evolution over the last 10 years, and I understand why you have less patience from my side than you did 10 years ago. I get it. I deal with these freaks every day. But you've got to, our stories, people that understand that actually medically transition, our stories are not in the media. No one is talking to us. Piers horrified by all this nonsense.
I agree.
Brianna, give us a shot.
Brianna, it's why you're such an important voice in this. Because again, I have repeatedly said the people I feel most sorry for are people who have transitioned, who are just trying to get on with their lives and be treated equally and fairly, and they're getting dragged.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. Hold on. I heard that Brianna was terrible on this show. Like, a lot of people were really mad. I feel like she's both sizing too hard, for sure. But I feel like it was not anywhere near as horrible as I feel like people were telling me it was going to be. So
into all these ludicrous headlines like 6'4" biological male who was crap at swimming in the men's game transitions and suddenly beats women by 50 seconds. It is
and by the way, that's not at odds with anything. That's not at odds with anything that the Trump administration is pushing right now. Remember, many years ago, when Trump was asked about trans bathrooms, he said, "Hey, I build hotels. You want to tell me I can have one bathroom? That's fine."
And by the way, when it comes to Trump and the LGBTQ community, can we just remind us? In fact, why don't we? Given it's been quite a contentious panel, Trump has been ending his rallies with the famous YMCA dance, right, which is a gay anthem performed by a bunch of gay guys, right, and is now taken fire and has now become a trend around the world. Why don't we all come together as one big cis LGBT, whatever you want to call it, community, and have a little dance? Here we go.
Keep in mind that after the military already did evaluations on how to integrate trans people into the military, and they had that set up and they were doing fine with it, Donald Trump literally came with an executive order and banned trans people from joining the military for no fucking reason, but okay. This is so... How many times has... How many rally songs has Piers played for fucking Biden or Kamala?
Biggest wusses not dancing.
The pandering here. Oh my God. I would be... can I just say at the very least, progressives are cringe, and I will disavow cringe progressives, but at least my lawmakers, for the most part, no, all of them, and my president is not cringe. Bro, if my... This is like... If Kamala or fucking Biden were taking pictures like this, like, kill me, bro. It's over, all right? Find me, where's Jill Stein? Fuck it, dude. I'll go learn Russian. Start voting for her. Oh my God. Kill me, bro.
Most of us got fully into the groove. Anyway, young men and Brianna, lovely to have you all on the program. Thank you all very much indeed. Enjoyed the spirited debate. Long may it continue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, now the Democratic campaign has been labeled a one.
The Nancy pick is cringe? Oh, did Nancy do a cringe pick? Oh, is this cringe? Because she has the black people sash on or whatever? I don't know. I don't know enough about this. It might be cringe, but it's not as cringe as having a bunch of people around you praying to you, okay? It's from Wakanda? Based.
$1 billion disaster by dissenting voices within the DNC amid reports of lavish spending on celebrities. Despite record-breaking fundraising, the campaign somehow appears to have ended up in debt. Joining me now is Lindy Leeds, Democratic donor and a member of the DNC's National Finance Committee. Well, welcome to you, Lindy. It seems quite extraordinary that Kamala Harris should get all this cash and then still get into debt. How has that happened?
Your guess is as best as mine. So thank you so much for having me. And it's just amazing how every single hour more reports come out to substantiate what I've been saying just in the last couple of hours.
Destiny, check Discord. What about it?